Chapter 1196. Dugu Ao said indifferently, I have no objections. Yonkai looked at the straw-caped old man. Since both Xiao Chun and Dugu Ao agreed to travel together, naturally, the straw-caped old man would not reject them. Good. I just knew that everyone would not be satisfied with this little harvest. How can an 8-star dragon grave only have this little harvest? Yonkai smiled coldly to himself as he led the way out of the burial ground. The others quickly followed. After crossing the burial ground, the group of people went deeper and deeper into the vast and complicated cavern. The further in they went, the denser the demonic chi became. There was only an indistinct and extremely illusory demonic chi in front. However, it was already visible to the naked eye. Strands of demonic chi drifted in the air like snakes slithering about, looking extremely strange. The group felt that it was somewhat strange. Yonkai, who suggested going deeper, already felt some regret in his heart. Aside from finding the true master of the dragon grave, he also wanted to see if he could take advantage of the chaos to kill Xiao Chun. However, the situation now exceeded Yonkai's control. The atmosphere was simply too strange. How could there be such dense demonic chi in the dragon grave? Furthermore, this demonic chi was extremely pure. If there were deep abyss demon race cultivators or demon mixed bloods here, they would definitely like this place. To them, this was a holy land for cultivation. However, Xiao Chun discovered that Dugu Ao's expression was somewhat unsightly. From the very start, he had been very sensitive to demonic chi. The demonic chi that any demon mixed blood would like was something Dugu Ao did not seem willing to touch. When Xiao Chun thought about how this person had not been willing to use his blood demon innate talent, there had to be a story behind this. As for what the story was, Xiao Chun would not overthink it, much less ask about it. Right now, what Xiao Chun cared about the most was what was in the depths of this dragon grave. The path ahead was unexpectedly calm. Due to the age of the many restrictions and traps, the group easily broke them. The journey was very peaceful, without any disturbances at all. There were many forks in the road, but there was no need to worry about choosing one. They could take whichever path had the densest demonic chi. However, in the end, the group felt their hair stand on end. Even when they circulated their energies to block the dense demonic chi, they could not prevent it from seeping into their bodies. Dugu Ao was fine. However, when the demonic chi entered the bodies of others, it was like poison. They would have to spend some time to get rid of it. Go! Yonkai braced himself and walked forward. It was hard for him to back out now. After passing through a passageway where the demonic energy had turned into mist, the group's eyes suddenly lit up, and their field of vision suddenly widened. Looking at the scene before them, everyone's jaws dropped in disbelief. In the vast open space in front of him, there was a huge black skeleton of a true dragon lying on the ground. A vast dragon might spread out from the dragon bones. Even from a distance, everyone could feel the pressure. There were 8 thick and heavy chains on the back of the dragon skeleton, firmly locking the black dragon skeleton down from each side. The heavy chains, the giant remains of the black true dragon, and the dragon might that hadn't dissipated even after 1,000,000 years. The shock brought about by this scene was somewhat indescribable. Only those who were at the scene could feel it for themselves. There were also 8 flaming stone pillars surrounding the black dragon skeleton. Each pillar had a purple dragon skeleton tied to it. Compared to the giant black dragon skeleton, the 8 dragon skeletons tied to the flaming stone pillars were much smaller. Even so, these 8 purple dragon skeletons were much larger than the true dragon skeleton that Xiao Chun obtained from the burial ground earlier. Furthermore, the dragon might from the purple dragon skeletons had not dissipated. It was clear which was stronger, be it the purple dragon skeletons on the flaming stone pillars or the giant black skeleton bound by chains. They all gave off an extraordinary aura. What kind of flame is this? It has been burning for 1,000,000 years without extinguishing. Even with Yonkai's experience as a half-step Emperor Wu, he felt that his knowledge was too shallow. He did not know what kind of flame this was. Xiao Chun frowned slightly and muttered, This is a heavenly flame. This was indeed a heavenly flame. It had the same nature as the heavenly flame in Chu Chaoyun's eyes. However, the heavenly flame that Chu Chaoyun grasped did not have an origin flame. It was just a facade. However, the flame on these stone pillars was released by someone who possessed the heavenly flame's origin flame. Its might was on a completely different level. Thinking about the heavenly flame's origin flame sealed in the divine blood formation in the Blue Dragon Palace, Xiao Chun suspected that the Qing Emperor had set the flames on these stone pillars. After thinking about it, this was quite possible. The Blue Dragon Palace happened to have the heavenly flame's origin flame, and the Qing Emperor happened to have been here. What's going on? Why did the master of the dragon grave lock himself here? Also, why does it feel like the dragon skeletons on these stone pillars are sealed like people? Without a doubt, that giant black dragon skeleton was the master of this dragon grave. However, why did it lock himself here? Look, doesn't the ornament at the top of the stone pillar look like a sword hilt? The sharp-eyed old man in the straw-caped raincoat suddenly said. There is a palm-sized stone pillar in the middle of every stone pillar that could be grasped with one hand. If one did not associate it with a sword hilt, it would be hard to notice. However, once one did, the more one looked at it, the more similar it seemed. A distant, ancient, divine weapon. The eyes of Yang Kai, who used a sword, immediately lit up. Although Wu Ku and the straw-caped old man did not use swords, they understood the value of a distant, ancient, divine weapon. A distant, ancient, divine weapon already rivaled an emperor-grade secret treasure. They were weapons that were hard to find in the world. Possessing a distant, ancient, divine weapon could raise Emperor Wu's strength by at least 20%. A distant, ancient, divine weapon would only be stronger than a divine weapon forged in the current era. Dugu Ao frowned and said, "It's best not to mess around. I feel that the stone pillars are the seals. These 8 dragon skeletons, as well as the huge dragon skeletons in the middle, are no longer of the dragon race. The demonic chi in their bodies is even purer than that of high-ranked demons." Given Dugu Ao's status as a mixed-blood human and demon, his words were very reliable. Xiao Chen also felt that the distant ancient divine weapons on the stone pillars could not be touched. He advised, "Let's go back. This place is too strange." The Qing Emperor probably added the heavenly flame. It is possible that the original seal could no longer suppress these things, so he added the heavenly flame. The three could not decide what to do. Given their experience, they knew that what Xiao Chun and Dugu Ao said was true. However, the allure of a distant ancient divine weapon was too great. If they missed this opportunity, they would miss it forever. Yang Kai, who coveted this divine weapon the most, said, "Perhaps you are overthinking. These are just ordinary true dragon remains, just like the other dragon graves. They are just skeletons that have been dead for millions of years." Xiao Chun smiled coldly and said, "You really know how to comfort yourself." Yang Kai immediately felt extremely uncomfortable after being rebuked by Xiao Chun. His eyes filled with hostility as he said sullenly, "This old man does not need you to lecture me. Even if there is a great disaster, it is not my turn to worry about it." These words were extremely irresponsible. However, they were not wrong. Even if the sky collapsed, there would be someone taller to hold it up. As long as Yang Kai took the distant ancient divine weapons here and quickly escaped, even if the seal broke in the future, the ones to worry would be those primes and sovereign martial emperors. If something major happened, the ones to worry would be those primes and sovereign martial emperors. It had nothing to do with him, a half-step martial emperor. Whoosh! Yang Kai's figure flashed, and he landed on top of a stone pillar. There was no heavenly flame at the top, but there were some sparks floating around. Yang Kai carefully squatted down and stretched out his hand to grasp the sword hilt. Seeing Yang Kai's actions, Xiao Chen's and Dugu Ao's expressions changed, and they quickly took 10 steps back. A fervent look flashed in the eyes of the bald Wu Ku and the straw-caped old man, but they did not take even half a step back. The two of them probably had designs on these distant ancient divine weapons. If the distant ancient divine weapons were pulled out, nothing would happen. The two of them would use the shortest time possible to pull out all the other distant ancient divine weapons, not leaving a single one behind. Before everyone's eyes, Yonkai took a deep breath, and determination flashed in his eyes. Then, he started to slowly pull out the sword. As Yonkai slowly pulled out the sword, bits and pieces fell off, giving off a bright light. A strong and simple might spread out. This was indeed a distant ancient divine weapon. As a swordsman, Yonkai could not help revealing an expression of joy at this moment. He suppressed his excitement and continued to carefully pull out the sword. A fervent look appeared in the eyes of the bald Wu Ku and the straw-caped old man. They looked around, wanting to see if there were any strange movements from the purple dragon bones tied to the stone pillars. There were no movements at all. Those dragon bones were like the bones of ordinary true dragons. They did not give off any fluctuations of life or any strange sounds. The wind was calm. Everything was quiet. The two of them heaved a sigh of relief. A crafty look flashed in their eyes as they stepped forward. Before Yonkai could pull out the sword, they each flew to a stone pillar. Compared to Yonkai's caution, the two of them did not care. They pulled hard and pulled out all the swords. The two of them were only slightly slower than Yonkai. They pulled out the distant ancient divine weapons from the stone pillars at nearly the same time. Their faces brimmed with joy. When the two of them felt the surging energy contained in the swords, they were overjoyed. Xiao Chen's expression remained calm. There were no fluctuations in his heart. He kept feeling that something was about to happen. Now that it was so calm, it was definitely not normal. The distant ancient divine weapons were important items for the seal. After losing them, there would be a major change to the seal. However, Xiao Chen felt some doubt in his heart. These dragon bones had been dead for who knows how many years. Could they still be a threat? No matter what, it was better to be careful. Thinking of this, Xiao Chen moved his feet and retreated further. Ha! Distant ancient divine weapon. It really is a distant ancient divine weapon. With this distant ancient divine weapon, why would I need to fear the great tribulation of wind and fire? After clearing the great tribulation of wind and fire and advancing to martial emperor, the straw-caped old man's wish of hundreds of years was about to be fulfilled. He entered a berserk state, laughing maniacally. Yonkai glanced at Xiao Chen and Duguao, who had retreated far away. He smiled and said, "There are still 5 distant ancient divine weapons. Are the two of you sure you don't want them? If you really don't want them, don't blame us for not leaving them for you." Tempted expressions flashed in Xiao Chen's and Duguao's eyes. Who could resist the temptation of a distant ancient divine weapon? Chapter 1197. A large part of the reason they did not leave was the existence of the distant ancient divine weapons. Seeing that the three were safe and sound after obtaining the distant ancient divine weapons, Xiao Chen could not help wanting to make a move. However, after struggling for a while, his rationality finally won over his desire. The time was not right. This place was too strange. The Qing Emperor would not place a heavenly flame on this stone pillar for no reason. Furthermore, he would not be so bored as to leave a powerful killing move on the wall. Cowardly and afraid of everything. Yet you still want to take the Emperor's road? What a joke. The straw-caped old man smiled coldly when he saw that the two did not move. Kassier. However, just at this moment, the chains binding the dragon bones on the 3 stone pillars where the divine weapons were drawn suddenly broke. Amid a crisp sound, the upright dragon bones fell to the ground with a whoosh. The dragon bones that fell to the ground slowly melted into a purple liquid that slowly flowed out of the heavenly flames range. When the black liquid completely flowed out of the heavenly flames range, it wriggled and took human form. Then, it materialized 3 purple robes with the symbol of a demonic god embroidered on them. A bright light flashed in Xiao Chen's eyes. These robes were clearly the Dark Church's uniform. He had seen them on Tang Xiao and the Dark Church's branch in the Sky Dome realm before. There was no mistaking it. Run. Without even thinking, Xiao Chen turned around and left. Duguao's movements were not much slower than Xiao Chen's. He quickly followed behind, running back the way he came. "Who are you?" Yonkai's 3 people on the stone pillars exclaimed in horror when they saw this sudden scene. They did not expect this. The 3 purple-clad men turned around expressionlessly and looked at the 3 people on the stone pillars. Then they sent out a formless mental energy, and the 3 immediately felt confused. The purple-clad men stretched out their hands at the same time, and the distant ancient divine weapons that Yonkai's 3 held immediately struggled free. Then they spun in the air and chopped off the 3's heads at the same time. This scene happened very quickly, in less than half a breath of time. There was no time for the 3 half-step Emperor Wu experts to prepare. Yonkai's 3, who had been overjoyed at obtaining the distant ancient divine weapons, died to the divine weapons in their hands in the blink of an eye. Fortunately, they were able to witness the might of the ancient era's divine armament before they died. This proved that their foresight was not bad. It's a pity that it's not yours. It's not yours. Even if you hold it in your hands, it's not yours. 2 escaped. One is a human-demon hybrid, and the other is a human blue-robed emperor. It's very weak, but we can kill it. Chase. The 3 of them spoke in an extremely simple manner. Their minds were calm, and they were extremely calm about breaking free from the seal. Come to think of it, he'd been sealed for over 1 million years, so his mental state had probably become a dead sea, and it was very difficult for it to fluctuate due to external factors. So. Figures flashed. 3 expressionless purple-clad men, wielding divine weapons, quickly gave chase in the direction that Xiao Chun and Dugu Ao had fled. Their speed was unimaginably fast. It wouldn't be an exaggeration to say that they were teleporting. Although they could not tear space, they seemed to have some mysteries of the state of space in them. Compared to ordinary movement techniques, they were much more exquisite. After 15 minutes, the 3 saw Xiao, Chun, and Dugu Ao's figures. Without saying anything, they each send out a sword strike. 3 terrifying sword chi sliced through the space like tofu, tearing open a neat black crack that continued to extend forward. Xiao Chun checked his surroundings. He knew that he could not block them with his martial techniques. So, he did a series of extreme movements with his feet in the air, brushing past the cracks created by the 3 sword chi. A black crack flew by Xiao Chen's face, silently chopping off his fine black hair. This startled Xiao Chun into breaking out in a cold sweat. For the sake of dodging the sword chi, Xiao Chun and Dugu Ao's speed decreased significantly. The distance between them slowly shortened. The purple-clad men were like the Grim Reaper. As long as the 2 got close, only death awaited them. Sword chi flew everywhere, creating spatial cracks and turning the cavern into a mess. The rocks above their heads kept falling, creating quite a bit of obstruction for the 2 of them to escape. With their lives hanging by a thread, Xiao Chun was extremely focused. His mind was clear. He did not give up at all. As long as they reached the stone wall where the Qing Emperor left those words, they would have a chance of survival. Compared to Xiao Chun, Dugu Ao was in an even worse state. His body was already riddled with wounds from the sword chi. The Dragon's Gate's Qing Emperor was here. Xiao Chen's eyes lit up. He finally saw those 8 ancient and modern words. However, when he looked back, 18 crisscrossing sword chi appeared behind him, not giving him a chance to dodge at all. As for the 3 purple-clad men, they followed unhurriedly, 1 step at a time. They looked at the 2 like they were already dead. At the critical moment, Xiao Chun unfurled the freedom wings and increased his speed by another 20%. He pushed off the ground and landed at the foot of the stone wall before the sword chi arrived. Just as Xiao Chun was about to wipe away the 8 words and unleash the Qing Emperor's powerful killing move, he glanced around and happened to see Dugu Ao, who was about to be swallowed up by the sword chi. Xiao Chen was not very clear on the exact classification of Emperor Wu's strength. He was just making a random guess. He should not be too far off. Ao Jiao, how much do you know about this demon, mixed bloods martial emperor? It is hard to believe that a martial emperor could endure loneliness for 1,000 years. The human demon, Si, was already before them. However, Xiao Chen felt somewhat nervous. 1,000 years was too long. He feared that he would not meet this demon, mixed bloods martial emperor. That would be problematic. Without this martial emperor's key, he would not be able to enter the Thunder King's treasures. However, Ao Jiao was very confident. She smiled and said, "Don't worry. I've met this demon, mixed bloods martial emperor before. Furthermore, you have to believe in the Thunder King's judgment. There will not be any problems." With Ao Jiao's assurance, Xiao Chen felt more at ease. Half a day later, they formally entered the human demon sea. Xiao Chen put away the flood dragon war chariot and landed on the surface of the sea in a low-profile manner. What dense demonic chi! Xiao Chen frowned slightly. The instant he stepped onto the surface of the sea, he felt a large amount of demonic chi in the air. However, the spiritual energy here was pitifully thin. The human demon sea truly lived up to its name. Suddenly, Xiao Chen thought about how Dugo Ao chose to cultivate spiritual energy under such circumstances and even managed to cultivate to his current cultivation. He was truly a genius. After landing on a random island and resting for a night, Xiao Chen headed for Scorching Flame Island in the northern Demonic Sea. In the northern Demonic Sea, Scorching Flame Island was an average-sized island. It was about the same size as Xiao Chen's conferred land, Heavenly Star Island. Martial Emperor Su, he was the only Emperor Wu on this island. The Su clan was also the strongest faction on this Scorching Flame Island. They controlled the largest city on the island, Scorching Flame City. This was news from 1,000 years ago. After 1,000 years, there should not have been much change. After all, with a martial emperor holding down the fort, it should be more than enough to dominate a medium-sized island. After arriving at Scorching Flame Island, Xiao Chen headed straight for Scorching Flame City, moving as fast as lightning. Who is it? How dare you barge into Scorching Flame City? Just as Xiao Chen approached Scorching Flame City, two old men with hostile expressions came out of the city and blocked Xiao Chen's path in midair. These two old men were great perfection blue-robed emperor cultivators. The faction in the city must have sensed Xiao Chen's strength. However, they did not know his background, so they sent two great perfection blue-robed emperor experts to investigate. This was normal. Any major faction would react like this when an unfamiliar expert suddenly appeared in their territory with lightning speed. If this was not the case, then this faction would not even have the most basic precautions, and it would not be far from destruction. Xiao Chen did not find this strange. He smiled and said, "The two of you, please don't misunderstand. I do not have any malicious intent. I just want to ask, are the two of you surnamed Su? So, is a friend of the Su clan. I was wondering why you were so arrogant. You came to Scorching Flame City without even saying a word before running amok." Xiao Chen found this strange. Why does this tone sound off? Did something happen here? Is the Su clan no longer the overlord of Scorching Flame Island? You are not welcome here. Scram. The cultivators of the human demon sea were all hot-tempered. If they did not agree with each other, they would explode. The two old men immediately attacked, each sending out a killing move filled with overwhelming demonic chi at Xiao Chen. You overestimate yourself. Chapter 1199. Xiao Chen's face sank as he snorted coldly. Then he raised the 1,000-year flame in his left hand and the 1,000-year death in his right. Two bright moons, one scarlet like blood and one bright like fire, soared into the air behind Xiao Chen, forming a miraculous scene of two moons competing with each other. This palm strike clashed with the two old men's attacks, causing the two old men to vomit blood and retreat. They fled with panicked expressions on their faces. Xiao Chen did not give chase. He frowned slightly and said, "What's going on in this city? When I mentioned the Su clan's name, they immediately attacked me. Could something have happened in the past 1,000 years? Is he dead?" After sneaking into the city, Xiao Chun asked around and obtained a completely unexpected answer. The human demon martial emperor, Su He, died 500 years ago, dying on the path to sovereign martial emperor. Such an answer truly caught Xiao Chun by surprise. This was even harder to deal with than leaving Scorching Flame Island expected. The Su clan, the overlord of Scorching Flame Island back then, quickly declined after Sui died. Right now, the Su clan was on the brink of collapse on Scorching Flame Island. The factions that the Su clan had once suppressed had risen and were suppressing the Su clan again and again. The Su clan had been chased out of Scorching Flame City long ago. Now, they occupied a city on the northwestern edge of Scorching Flame Island. Although the Su clan was still one of the two major factions of Scorching Flame Island, it was in a gloomy state. Everyone knew that the Su clan would not last for long before the Wang clan chased them out of Scorching Flame Island. There is no such thing as a man living a good life for 1,000 days and a flower blooming for 100 days. Right now, the largest faction on Scorching Flame Island was the Wang clan. The two old men who blocked Xiao Chun from entering the city were the Wang clan's inter-clan elders. The Wang clan's clan head possessed the strength of a half-step Emperor Wu. Aside from that, there were two consummation blue-robed Emperor experts. In this Scorching Flame Island without Emperor Wu, the Wang clan's reputation as the strongest was well-deserved. Thank you. After giving the waiter who told him the news some compensation, Xiao Chun picked up his teacup and entered deep thought. This was really a little troublesome. The guardian of the Thunder King's inheritance had passed away. It was unknown whether the key had been given to his descendants or buried with the key. Ao Jiao, what do we do now? Xiao Chun asked, putting down the teacup. Ao Jiao, who was in the Immortal Spirit Ring, thought for a while before saying, let's go to the Su clan and take a look first. Without the key, I cannot open the Thunder King's inheritance. I hope everything goes well. After getting up and settling the bill, Xiao Chun suddenly sensed a powerful aura flying rapidly in his direction. The two elders who were injured by him earlier were also following behind this powerful aura. One perfected blue-robed emperor and two advanced blue-robed emperors. Xiao Chun smiled and said, "You really think highly of me." Now that Xiao Chun faced a consummation blue-robed emperor, he did not fear him at all. Even someone as strong as the straw-caped old man would be confident of defeating him. However, there was no need to cause too much commotion at this moment. After circulating the Foundation returning art to cover up his aura, Xiao Chun silently left this place. Not long after Xiao Chun left, 3 cultivators appeared at the entrance of this tea house. The person in the middle had purple hair and red eyes. He did not look old. The moment he appeared, the bustling tea house immediately fell silent. This startled the manager of the tea house. What could have startled the Wang clan's supreme elder, Wang Feng? Furthermore, there were 2 advanced perfection blue-robed emperors with him. Now, the Wang clan was like the local tyrant of this vast scorching flame island. No one dared to defy them. Normally, the Wang clan's people were arrogant and despotic. No one dared to offend them. The manager quickly ran over and smiled apologetically. "Senior Wang, what brings you here?" The purple-haired, middle-aged man did not say anything. Instead, the old man that Xiao Chun injured at the side asked bluntly, "Have you seen a white-robed youth? He is not a local. His characteristics are very obvious, so you should be able to recognize him easily." "Yes, he just left not long ago." Seeing this person's ferocious expression, how could the manager dare not speak the truth? The expression of the purple-haired, middle-aged man, Wang Feng, changed slightly. He asked sullenly, "Are you sure he just left?" "He really just left not long ago." This little one does not dare to hide anything. Wang Feng muttered, "Strange, he just left not long ago. Why does it feel like he vanished completely from my perception? There is no such peak, great perfection blue-robed emperor here. Could it be that this fellow learned some secret technique to hide his aura and manage to hide?" Wang Feng nodded and entered deep thought. After a while, he said, "That should be it. This person's strength is not simple. Don't offend him for no reason. However, he seems to have some connection to the Su clan. Furthermore, he injured us without saying a word," one of the old men said carefully. Wang Feng smiled coldly and said, I'll make some time to make a trip there personally. If he really has some connection to the Sioux clan, I will make sure that he cannot leave Scorching Flame Island. If not, just treat it as a small loss. In the future, just be more careful. The two of you don't think that you are unrivaled in the sea region around Scorching Flame Island just because you can cover the sky with one hand. After saying that, the purple-haired, red-eyed Wang Feng could not be bothered with these two, so his figure flashed and he left. This caused the two old men that Xiao Chun injured to exchange glances, feeling upset. However, Old Wang personally made a move. If this brat really has some connection to the Sioux clan, he will definitely die a miserable death. That is natural. Old Wang is a peak great perfection blue-robed emperor. If the half-step Emperor Wu does not appear, who can match him? Scorching Flame Island was about the same size as Xiao Chen's conferred land, Heavenly Star Island. It was as large as a province in the Tianwu domain. Even if an ordinary person rode on horseback for 3 months, they would not be able to cross it. As for the blue-robed emperor, especially a demonic genius like Xiao Chun, there was no need for him to go through so much trouble. When night fell, Xiao Chun used only 7 or 8 minutes to easily reach a city at the northwestern edge of Scorching Flame Island. It was a city that was built on a desolate mountain, and it was the current location of the Sioux clan. Compared to the bustling Scorched City, it seemed to be desolate and cold. It was no wonder that it seemed to be lethargic in the words of others. It looked like this Sioux clan was indeed forced into a miserable state. Soon, they would be forced out of Scorching Flame Island. With his previous experience, Xiao Chun continuously circulated his foundation returning art this time. He traveled silently, not startling anyone as he arrived at the city lord's residence. At this moment, the large hall of the city lord's residence was brightly lit. The Sioux clan's clan head and the Sioux clan elders were all gathered together, seemingly discussing something. Without startling anyone, Xiao Chun quietly landed on the roof. When he saw the brightly lit hall and the grave expressions of the Sioux clan elders, he could not help but listen out of curiosity. Big bro, the Wang family's being too aggressive right now. Several of our resource islands have been occupied by the Wang family. We can't go on like this. The Wang clan's people are too tyrannical. They're simply pushing us to our deaths. Not only did they chase us out of Scorching Flame City, they even want to occupy our resource islands. They're trying to break our roots. Big brother, make a decision. The ancestral teachings can be changed. Right now, the Wang clan is at a critical juncture. I believe that old ancestor Su he will forgive us. Everyone in the room stared at the Sioux clan's clan head, who sat in the middle with a fiery gaze, hoping that he would make a decision. Xiao Chun checked with his spiritual sense and discovered that this person held a simple and unadorned purple key in his hand. He had a conflicted expression, clearly in great pain. Seeing this scene, Xiao Chun immediately understood what was going on. After Su he died, he did indeed hand the key to his descendants. At the same time, he left a will to wait for the Thunder King's inheritor to appear. However, now that the Sioux clan was at a critical juncture, these elders wanted to use the treasures left behind by the Thunder King. They wanted to rely on the treasures left behind by the Thunder King to survive this calamity and regain their position as the overlord of Scorching Flame Island. How shameless! How can you steal the things left behind by our benefactor? Ao Jiao cursed from the immortal spirit ring, her face flushed red with anger. Xiao Chun said calmly, "Don't get agitated. Let's see what decision that Sioux clan's clan head will make." Xiao Chun was not a bloodthirsty person. However, if the Sioux clan's clan head made the wrong decision, he would not mind starting a massacre. Inside the hall, when the Sioux clan's clan head saw his fervent brothers, a complicated expression appeared in his eyes. He knew that these people missed the Sioux clan's position as the overlord of Scorching Flame Island. They could not endure their current sullenness. He could understand how these brothers felt. However, this was something passed down by their ancestors. Before the old ancestor died, he had warned them repeatedly. As the clan head, he did not dare to make a rash decision. Don't mention this matter. The things in there are not the old ancestors, but the old ancestors' benefactors. If I really take them, how am I going to face the old ancestor after I die? After thinking for a while, the Sioux clan's clan head made a decision that disappointed all his brothers. Congratulations. You've made the right choice. Whoosh! Xiao Chun nimbly somersaulted and suddenly appeared in the Sioux clan's hall. Who is it? Xiao Chen's silent appearance frightened the group of people in the hall. The peak experts of the Sioux clan were all gathered here, but they did not sense his presence at all. When the Sioux clan's clan head sized up Xiao Chun, they discovered that he was only a peak great perfection blue-robed emperor. However, the pressure from his aura was even more horrifying than that of a half-step Emperor Wu. The Sioux clan's clan head calmly waved his hand and stopped the flustered elders. Then, he looked at Xiao Chun and asked, "Might I ask who you are and why you're eavesdropping on us?" Xiao Chun looked at the purple key on the table and said calmly, "I do not have any malicious intentions. The person you are waiting for is me." Sensing Xiao Chen's gaze, the Sioux clan's clan head grabbed the key in his hand and said with a grave expression, "I do not know what you are talking about. I'm not waiting for anyone. I think you're mistaken." Not bad. Even at this moment, he can still remain cautious. Xiao Chun praised the clan head in his heart. If his words caused the clan head's expression to change drastically and reveal everything, then Xiao Chun had underestimated the clan head's composure. Haha, do you need me to explain? I am the inheritor of the Thunder King. The person Emperor Su he wants you to wait for is me. The key in your hand is mine. The moment Xiao Chun spoke, the expressions of the group of people in the hall who wanted to open the Thunder King's inheritance changed. They did not expect to meet the person in question. Furthermore, the other party heard that the descendants of the protectors wanted to take the inheritance for themselves. Their expressions turned complicated. Chapter 1200. Xiao Chun said indifferently, "Don't be nervous. I can understand your situation. If I were you, I would have the same thoughts. Furthermore, Lord Clan Head has made the right decision. What proof do you have?" At this point, the Sioux clan's clan head was already half convinced. This was because he had not said these words in the Great Hall. Since Xiao Chun could say it clearly, it was most likely correct. However, there had to be proof. Words alone were not enough. With me around, do you still need proof? Before Ao Jiao's anger had dissipated, she flew out of the immortal spirit ring with a dark expression. When the Sioux clan's clan head saw Ao Jiao's appearance, his expression finally changed. He took out a portrait from the universe ring and compared it. "That's right. The ancestor said that you are the best proof. All I need is to see you." The Sioux clan's clan head put away the portrait and waved his hand to the people beside him. "You all can withdraw first. I want to speak with this little brother alone." However, the eyes of these people flickered, unwilling to leave. "Withdraw." The Sioux clan's clan head shouted coldly, feeling somewhat embarrassed. Plop! Suddenly, an elder knelt down and said, "Little brother, since you are the inheritor of this expert, you must be an outstanding talent of this great age. If you obtain the Thunder King's inheritance, please help our Sioux clan. Please help our Sioux clan. We have had a hard time in the past few years. Those people from the Wong clan have forced us into a miserable state." Xiao Chun stretched out his hand and sent out a palm strike, forcibly pulling the kneeling person up. "Your Sioux clan has guarded the Thunder King's inheritance for more than 1,000 years. Since I am here, I will naturally help if I can." Xiao Chun had a ruler in his heart. Before he came, he had already thought it through. He would help the Sioux clan if he could. The Wong clan only had one half-step Emperor Wu. To Xiao Chun, it was not impossible to defeat them. However, it was not worth it to expose all of his trump cards to kill this person. The best result would be for the other party to back off. This would give the Sioux clan a foothold and stop killing them and plundering their resource islands. This would be considered repaying this favor. After all, it was the Thunder King who had helped the Sioux clan's ancestor. He did not owe the other party anything. "Many thanks, young master." After the few people obtained Xiao Chen's promise, they revealed expressions of joy and left one after another. Clan's head, what's wrong? Do you think I'm bragged?" The Sioux clan's clan head recovered his wits and said, "I do not dare. Although I'm not strong enough, I still have some judgment. Given young master's strength, a regular consummation quasi-emperor should not be a match for him. But the Wang clan is, after all, a clan with half-step Emperor Wu guarding it. Even if young master obtains the treasures left behind by the Thunder King, his strength will not increase by leaps and bounds within a short period of time. My brothers are still too naive. Xiao Qian's eyes lit up. This Su clan's patriarch did have good judgment and brains. No wonder he could still maintain the Su clan for 500 years after the death of Emperor Su He. However, now, even if Xiao Chun did not enter the Thunder King's inheritance, he would not fear the blue-robed emperor. He could fight him to a draw. If he used that golden holy feather, killing this half-step Emperor Wu would be a piece of cake. On the side, Ao Jiao replied on behalf of Xiao Chun. Lord Patriarch is indeed perceptive, but you don't have to think too much about this matter. Xiao Chun has his own ways to solve it. Give me the key. I'll bring him in tomorrow. The Su clan's patriarch smiled, but did not say anything in the end. Then, he handed the key to Ao Jiao. Xiao Qian's anxious heart finally relaxed. Although there were some unexpected twists and turns, he still managed to resolve the matter of the Thunder King's inheritance. As for the other things that the Thunder King left behind, Xiao Chun was not very interested. The other party used a sword, and he used a saber. The inheritance he could obtain was limited. However, he absolutely had to obtain the already extinct death fruit. The trip to the 8-star Dragon Grave made Xiao Chun realize how insignificant his strength was. He felt an extremely urgent pressure to advance to Martial Emperor. The most realistic obstacle before him was the consummation blue-robed emperor. He had to break through this hurdle quickly. Xiao Chun set a time limit of 2 months. Within 2 months, he had to condense the heart of an emperor and reach the consummation blue-robed emperor realm. The night was as cold as water. The Su clan's patriarch arranged a secluded and spacious residence for Xiao Chun in the city lord's residence. Within the quiet courtyard, Xiao Chun did not sleep. Instead, he closed his eyes and pondered the medial-grade profound martial technique that he obtained, thousand-year hegemony establishment. After studying it for more than a month, Xiao Chun finally gained some comprehension of this medial-grade, profound martial technique. He was confident that he could execute it successfully. Thousand-year hegemony establishment, not to mention its connection to the mysteries of time at its highest level, was too far away. Just from the name alone, this was a very tyrannical saber technique. The essence of this saber technique lay in the word hegemony, the tyranny of kingship. If Xianyuan Zhantian, who cultivated the state of kingship, tried the saber technique, he would be able to achieve twice the result with half the effort. Although Xiao Chun did not comprehend the state of kingship, his tyrannical kingship was no weaker than those who did. Be in the Sky Dome Realm's 5-nation youth competition, Xiao Chun overcame all difficulties and killed his way to the peak, becoming the bearer of luck of the Sky Dome Realm, possessing the King True Dragon fate. Be it after coming to the Kunlun Realm or the shocking battles with the outstanding talents of the various races, Xiao Chun won all of them without exception. Xiao Chun successfully swept through the younger generation of the Kunlun continent. Then, in the heavenly starry ocean, he defeated all the outstanding talents of the 4 seas with one move. This already gave Xiao Chun a strong aura and an unparalleled tyranny of kingship. If not for his strong aura and the formless tyranny of kingship, Xiao Chun would not have been able to subdue all the Su clan elders with his peak great perfection blue-robed emperor cultivation. After a long time, Xiao Chun suddenly opened his eyes. In the dark night, his eyes gave off a dazzling light. It was like they were even more dazzling than the sun. In this instant, a boundless tyranny spread out from Xiao Chun's body. The moment Xiao Chun opened his eyes, the strong tyranny of kingship made even the dark night submit to him. Spirit, chi, and mind were all present. Xiao Chun followed his feelings and chopped down with his saber, executing the 1,000-year hegemony establishment. This caused the boundless dark night to lose its color. For the entire night, Xiao Chun executed this 1,000-year hegemony establishment. Of course, he did not use too much law energy. That would have caused too much of a commotion. The strong cultivators of the entire Scorching Flame Island would have sensed it. The reason was none other than the tyranny of kingship that this move released. It was too unyielding and vigorous, giving off the feeling of a sovereign descending on the world, the sovereign of the night. Even though Xiao Chun suppressed the might of this move, the strongest person in the City Lord's residence, the Su clan's clan head, still clearly sensed it. What exactly is this person's background? He already has such strength at such a young age. He is already equal to the 10 outstanding talents of the human demon sea. That's not right. In terms of talent, the 10 outstanding talents of the human demon sea cannot compare to this white-clad person. Even the youngest of the 10 outstanding talents was at least 40 years old. However, Xiao Chun looked like he was at most 30 years old. Such a person would either bring glory or destruction to the Su clan. I hope it is the former. The Su clan's clan head shook his head and stopped trying to sense Xiao Chun's situation. Then, he entered his room to sleep. However, it was destined that he would not be able to sleep tonight. When the sky brightened, Xiao Chun welcomed the rising sun. When he saw the purple chi coming from the east and the morning glow filling the sky, he felt a surge of vitality in his heart. Xiao Chun sheathed his saber. Having not slept for the entire night, he felt somewhat fatigued. He circulated his energy and spat out a mouthful of turbid chi. Only then did he feel refreshed. The Thunder King's inheritance was in an unremarkable mountain range. The key was already in Ao Jiao's hands. Ao Jiao also knew the location, so there was no need for the Su clan's clan head to find him. Xiao Chun could travel alone. After washing up, he prepared to depart. Young Master Xiao, something bad has happened. The Wang clan supreme elder is here. He wants to see you by name. Just at this moment, a Su clan manservant rushed into Xiao Chun's courtyard in a fluster. His voice was somewhat messy. Did the news leak? The Wang clan definitely had spies in the vast City Lord's residence. Xiao Chun did not make any effort to hide in the City Lord's residence. It was not strange for the Wang clan to discover him. However, this was making a big fuss over a minor issue. Xiao Chun was only one of the 2 great perfection blue-robed emperors of the Wang clan. Perhaps it was just an excuse that they did not kill him. The clan head told you to stay back for a while. Don't go out first. They are helping to block him, the manservant said somewhat fearfully. When Xiao Chun saw this, he wondered why the Su clan was so afraid of the Wang clan. Just one person came and scared the manservant to such a state. There's no need. I'll go and take a look. Don't. The clan head specifically instructed you not to go out no matter what, the manservant exclaimed. However, if Xiao Chun want to leave, how could he stop him? Xiao Chun pushed off the ground and leaped a few times. Soon, he arrived at a tall building in the City Lord's residence. Now he could see the scene outside the city. Only one great perfection blue-robed emperor with purple hair, red eyes, and purple hair came from the Wang clan's upper echelon. However, the entire upper echelon of the Su clan was startled. The clan head led the few remaining blue-robed emperors to wait for the Wang clan, appearing nervous. Little brother Su, are you really going to fight with me to the end? You even dare to take in someone who injured my Wang clan's people? Do you really not want to remain on Scorching Flame Island that much? Wang Feng asked indifferently as he looked coldly at this group of people. The Su clan's clan head said calmly, I think you are mistaken. The person you are looking for is not in the City Lord's residence. Still trying to pretend? I advise you to hand over the person now. Otherwise, when I capture him myself, what are you going to do? Kill the entire Su clan? This was just a consummation blue-robed emperor, yet he dared to speak so boldly. Xiao Chun could no longer keep watching, so he jumped down and interrupted the Su clan's clan head. Young Master Xiao, why did you come out by yourself? The Su clan's clan head asked, somewhat flustered. Wang Feng looked at Xiao Chun, who jumped out. Xiao Chun's white clothes, delicate face, and the boundless saber intent in the depths of his eyes matched what the 2 injured people said. You are courageous. Little brother Su, what else do you have to say? This time, are you going to scram from Scorching Flame Island, or do I have to make a move and chase you out? The expressions of the Sioux clan's clan elders changed drastically, feeling enraged. Xiao Chan said indifferently, "You don't seem to understand your situation. I should be the one saying that to you. Are you going to scram yourself? Or do I have to make a move and chase you out?" Chapter 1201. The moment Xiao Chun said this, all the Sioux clan elders present were shocked. To think that Xiao Chan said such arrogant words to a consummation blue-robed emperor. Young Master Xiao, don't be rash. He is a mixed blood of the human race, the snow demon race, and the blood demon race. Furthermore, he is a mixed blood of 3 races. He is not an ordinary consummation blue-robed emperor. Seeing Xiao Chan being so aggressive, the Sioux clan's clan head could not help reminding him. Even if Xiao Chan wanted to fight, he could endure for a while. It would not be too late to fight after Xiao Chun came out of the Thunder King's inheritance and grew stronger. You are so young, but you are boundlessly arrogant. Let's see how you are going to chase me out. Wang Feng shouted coldly, and the air suddenly turned cold. He stretched out his hand and condensed the water vapor in the air into an ice sword. A red light flashed on Wang Feng's body, drawing a red line on the ground. Suddenly, he arrived before Xiao Chun. This was the blood demon's innate movement technique, blood shadow art. Wang Feng thrust the ice sword ferociously at Xiao Chun's chest. When it was only 30 centimeters away from Xiao Chun, the sword suddenly lengthened by 5 centimeters. This sword strike was very strange. It was incredibly strange. Wang Feng's movement technique looked like he teleported, and the sword in his hand was also made of water vapor. He could control its length at will, catching his opponent off guard. Even if his opponent dodged, he would be caught off guard. For a long time, his momentum would be suppressed, and he would be at a disadvantage. This was the first time Xiao Chun faced such an opponent. His rich combat experience told him that he absolutely could not retreat. Once he retreated, he would be complying with the other party's wishes. The other party would control the tempo. The bone-chilling, sharp sword was only 2 centimeters away from Xiao Chun in an instant. Then, the sword suddenly lengthened by 1 centimeter and touched Xiao Chun's chest. What was even more critical was that Wang Feng did not stop moving. That strange blood demon movement technique created a long scarlet line on the ground, allowing him to move as fast as lightning. The jaws of the Sioux clan's people gaped. They had not expected Wang Feng to be so strong. He wanted to kill Xiao Chun the moment he attacked. His speed was so fast that their minds could not keep up. 1, 2, 3. However, something even stranger happened. The scene seemed to freeze. Wang Feng's sword had clearly reached Xiao Chun's chest, but it was unable to advance any further. What happened? This question appeared in everyone's mind. 3 seconds was enough to kill a person more than 10 times, but Xiao Chun was still completely fine. Only Wang Feng, who was opposite Xiao Chun, knew that 2 flames, one golden and one white, were spinning rapidly in Xiao Chun's eyes. The solar true flame and lunar true flame stuck to the surface of Xiao Chun's body, forming an invisible wall. It was this wall that blocked Wang Feng's strange killing move. If one looked closely, they would discover that the wall wasn't invisible. There were 2 different forces in it, which spun rapidly and chased after the flames in Xiao Chun's eyes. Retreat. Even after 3 seconds, Wang Feng still could not break this wall. He knew that his time was up, so he executed the blood shadow art, wanting to retreat quickly. I was waiting for you to retreat. As Wang Feng withdrew his sword and retreated, the flames in Xiao Chun's eyes, which had been storing up power for a long time, quickly spewed out. The invisible wall immediately turned into a yin-yang flame diagram. It gave off a golden light and materialized the 8 trigrams, yin-yang, and the 4 divisions. Then, it followed Xiao Chun's gaze and charged forward. Bang! The yin-yang flame diagram knocked Wang Feng, who had just vanished after executing the blood shadow art. He vomited blood and flew back. What followed was a resplendent saber light that illuminated the surroundings. Wang Feng chopped out 1,000 years of hegemony, establishing a dynasty that would not be destroyed for 10,000 years. After Shao Chun drew his saber, many cities appeared behind him, extending endlessly. As he stood on the imperial city, he looked down on the world. The tyrannical air of a king soared through the clouds. Wang Feng, who was struck, felt like he was being suppressed by a dynasty. His protective armor shattered, and horrifying wounds appeared on his body. His internal organs all cracked, and the cracks spread continuously. The tyrannical air of a king pressed down on his chest, suffocating him. 1,000 years of hegemony. Who can compete with me? A medial-grade, profound martial technique. Wang Feng, who was on the ground, exclaimed with some horror on his face. It was not that he had never seen a medial-grade, profound martial technique before. It was just that he had not seen the great perfection blue-robed emperor execute a medial-grade, profound martial technique so proficiently. Shao Chun sheathed his saber and did not stand on ceremony with Wang Feng. Scram, don't let me see you again. Also, don't use me as an excuse to deal with the Su clan. I was the one who injured your men. If you have anything to say, come at me. If I find out that you did it again, I will kill you. For every person of the Su clan that dies, I will kill 10 people of the Wang clan. You could try if you don't believe me. When Wang Feng saw Shao Chen's calm appearance, he felt defeated before an outstanding young talent for the first time. At this moment, although Wang Feng could barely put up a fight, when he saw Shao Chun execute a medial-grade profound martial technique without turning red, he lost the courage to continue fighting. After Wang Feng stood up with much difficulty, he wanted to say something ruthless to give himself a way out. However, when he saw the cold, murderous intent in Shao Chen's eyes, his heart skipped a beat. For some reason, Wang Feng had a premonition that if he said anything else, he would not be able to leave even if he wanted to. Wang Feng glared hatefully at Shao Chun. Then, without saying anything, he turned around and left. If Shao Chun had seen Wang Feng's expression after he turned around, he would have guessed that this matter would not end just like that. Seeing Wang Feng leave in a sorry state, the Su clan's people felt somewhat stupefied. They could not understand how the battle ended so quickly. Furthermore, it was Shao Chun who won. Wang Feng, who could be considered a peak character of Scorching Flame Island, lost to Shao Chun in just 2 moves. Shao Chun had lost without even making a sound. Young Master Shao, many thanks. The Su clan's clan head stepped forward and performed a cup fist salute. When the Su clan's clan head said that Shao Chun wanted to come at him, he felt extremely touched. Shao Chun returned the bow and said, "You are too polite. If the Su clan's half-step emperor Wu comes to kill his way over, I will deal with him immediately after I return." Naturally, Shao Chun did not think that Wang Feng would swallow this down so easily. He would definitely ask the Wang clan's clan head to come out and regain face. The Su clan's clan head said, "You can go in peace. There is no need to worry too much about the Su clan's half-step Emperor Wu. He will not dare to act recklessly." Shao Chun glanced at this person. He believed that what this person said might be true. Otherwise, the Su clan would not have been able to remain on the island for more than 500 years despite being so much weaker. The Su clan definitely had some trump cards that the Wang clan feared. For example, some favors from Su He. After performing a cupped fist salute and saying no more, Shao Chun soared into the air and headed for the Thunder King's inheritance in the mountain range. Big brother, do you think that he can block the Wang clan's half-step Emperor Wu after he comes out? As some people looked at Shao Chun's back, they were filled with hope and some nervousness. The Su clan's clan head shook his head and said, "It is hard to say. I simply cannot see through this youth. Perhaps the strength that he revealed is just the tip of the iceberg." The tip of the iceberg? When the others heard this, they felt somewhat confused. If defeating the consummation blue-robed emperor was just the tip of the iceberg, then how strong was this white-clad person? In the desolate mountain range, Shao Chun stopped in front of a cliff that did not look special. There are thousands or even hundreds of such cliffs in the mountain range. He could not make out anything special about them. From the perspective of a geomancy vein, this cliff looked ordinary. There was nothing special about it. Ao Jiao flew out of the Immortal spirit ring. Holding the purple key, she took a look and said, "This is the place." Xiao Chen looked forward and saw an ordinary stone wall in front. If not for Ao Jiao saying that this was the entrance to the Thunder King's inheritance, he would not even bother to look at it. What you see is just an illusion. The Thunder King laid a bewildering formation here. It is actually a bewildering formation. This piqued Xiao Chen's interest. What kind of bewildering formation is this for it to be so profound? Even with Xiao Chen's strong mental energy, he could not sense anything at all. Xiao Chen's sea of consciousness surged as he sent his spiritual sense in. In the end, he found nothing. He could not sense anything different. Ao Jiao covered her mouth and smiled. Don't waste your energy. This is a bewildering formation from the ancient Immortal epic. The Thunder King can only execute it because he has a formation flag. Xiao Chen understood and stopped probing. The Immortals of the Immortal epic cultivated magic energy. Comparing mental energy with them was like showing off before an expert, overestimating himself. Ao Jiao withdrew her smile, revealing an expression of nostalgia and sadness. In the end, this place was a sad place for her. After 1,000 years, she could not help but think of Xiao Chen, feeling sad. When Xiao Chen sensed this, he consoled, "Don't be too sad. I will definitely help you investigate the cause of the Thunder King's death." "Idiot, that's what I'm worried about," Ao Jiao muttered to herself. Then, she looked helplessly at Xiao Chen. Then, she started to break the bewildering formation. As she formed profound hand seals, Ao Jiao's hands gave off a dazzling light. A multicolored light shone on the stone wall. The stone wall before Xiao Chen became increasingly faint and thin, looking transparent. When she finished forming the hand seals, it vanished completely. A red formation flag flew into Ao Jiao's hands. Then, she handed it to Xiao Chen. Xiao Chen rejoiced in his heart. This was such a powerful formation flag. In the future, whether it was for escaping or trapping enemies, it could be considered a divine tool. Don't overthink. When the Thunder King obtained it, he could not use it. He barely managed to use it once. Now it is probably trash. Before Xiao Chen finished speaking, the formation flag in Xiao Chen's hands slowly crumbled. Then it scattered with the wind and disappeared. Xiao Chen rubbed his nose. When he reacted, he realized that Ao Jiao was purposely teasing him. He could not help smiling. When the stone wall vanished, the true appearance of the entrance to the Thunder King's inheritance appeared before Xiao Chen. It was a tightly shut stone door, simple and unadorned. Ao Jiao stepped forward and inserted the purple key into the keyhole. After twisting it a few times, the stone door opened. The door to the Thunder King's inheritance officially opened to Xiao Chen. Filled with anticipation, Xiao Chen walked in with large strides. Immediately, he was dazzled by the dazzling array of items in the treasury. Most of them are the Thunder King's spoils of war. There are also some treasures that the Thunder King obtained from exploring ancient ruins. There are also some of the Thunder King's cultivation experiences. Let me think, where are the death fruits that you want? They're really messy. Chapter 1202. As Ao Jiao strolled around the treasure trove, she explained the origins of the Thunder King's inheritance and recalled the location of the death fruit. It had been too long, so she could not remember. However, at this moment, Xiao Chen's attention was focused on a purple crystal on a stone platform in the center of the treasure trove. It was simply too beautiful. The crystal was about half the size of a human head, looking like a resplendent diamond. A nimble electric light swam in the center of the crystal. That light seemed to have a life of its own, changing into all sorts of shapes. It gave off a gentle purple light, mesmerizing people with one glance. This was especially so for a lightning-attributed cultivator like Xiao Chen. With one glance, he was completely captivated. As a result, Xiao Chen did not hear what Ao Jiao said at all, forgetting that his main purpose in coming to the Thunder King's inheritance was actually the death fruit. Xiao Chen asked somewhat anxiously, "Little Ao Jiao, what is that electric light in the purple crystal?" When Ao Jiao, who was currently searching for the death fruit, heard this question, she retorted somewhat angrily, "What are you looking at? Did you not hear what I said earlier?" Xiao Chen smiled awkwardly and asked, What did you say earlier? Ao Jiao could not help but feel frustrated. The moment this fellow came in, it was like she was helping him search for the death fruit. In the end, after speaking for so long, he did not hear her at all. Seeing that Ao Jiao's expression was off, Xiao Chun quickly reacted and apologized. There was no helping it. This mysterious purple crystal was simply too attractive. Otherwise, Xiao Chun would not have not heard anything Ao Jiao said. In reality, Xiao Chun was rather surprised by the harvest from the Dragon's Gate treasure trove. After the harvest from the Dragon's Gate treasure trove, Xiao Chun did not hold much hope for the Thunder King's inheritance. Furthermore, one was a saber, and the other was a sword. It would be hard for them to provide any real help. Who knew? The moment Xiao Chun entered the Thunder King's inheritance, he would be attracted by this mysterious purple crystal. This is the innate thunder crystal. When one's will of thunder reaches 100% comprehension and breaks through the bottleneck of will, it will transform into a soul crystal. His will has completely solidified, turning into a purple crystal. This is one of the few standards to measure Emperor Wu's strength. Xiao Chun suddenly understood. After the saber soul reached 100% comprehension, it would form a saber domain. In the future, one's will would completely materialize and become an innate thunder crystal. The innate thunder crystal and the acquired thunder will code represented two completely different profoundness. There is a huge difference in the control of thunder energy. Ao Jiao continued. What you see is the Thunder King's innate thunder crystal. It has reached the 4th rank and has formed a thunder soul inside. It can be considered the most formal treasure among the Thunder King's relics. For an ordinary Emperor Wu to completely materialize his own attribute was as difficult as ascending to the heavens. Furthermore, it required extremely high comprehension ability and fortuitous encounters. Even if one cultivated their will to consummation, they would not be able to materialize it. However, not only did Sang Mu leave behind an innate thunder crystal, but it had also reached the 4th rank and nurtured a thunder soul. Its value was easy to imagine. A thought occurred to Xiao Chun. He was a lightning-attributed cultivator himself. Furthermore, his will of thunder had reached great perfection long ago. He asked, Ao Jiao, with my current strength, can I absorb the innate thunder crystal that the Thunder King left behind? Ao Jiao smiled and replied, naturally, you can. Otherwise, why would I bring you to the Thunder King's relics? However, you cannot completely absorb it. You will have to wait until you reach Emperor Wu before you can completely absorb it and inherit it. After Ao Jiao spoke, she stretched out her hand, and the beautiful purple crystal left the stone platform and flew into Ao Jiao's hand. Place this thunder crystal into your sea of consciousness and slowly absorb it. Remember, don't be too anxious. Otherwise, a small explosion will injure your spiritual soul. If it is serious, you might end up becoming an idiot. Ao Jiao had a serious expression as she handed the thunder crystal to Xiao Chun. Then, she reminded him a few times, give it a try first. I will continue to help you search for the death fruit. It has been so many years, I don't even remember where I put it. Xiao Chun's expression turned grave as he received the innate thunder crystal from Ao Jiao's hand. It was hard to imagine that the energy of the will of thunder could completely materialize. This already defied the logic of Xiao Chun's previous life. It ignored the laws of physics. The purple thunder crystal floated quietly in Xiao Chun's palm. Naturally, the most interesting thing was the nimble purple electric light inside. According to what Ao Jiao said, this was a thunder soul. Only when the innate thunder crystal reached rank 4 could one condense a thunder soul. An innate thunder crystal with a soul and one without a soul differed by another grade. Xiao Chun finally understood why the Thunder King could challenge the Prime Thunder King when he just advanced to Sovereign Martial Emperor. Furthermore, he only lost to the Thunder King by one move. Common sense could no longer be used to describe such a person with such astonishing talent. For now, Xiao Chun did not think too much. He found a prayer mat in the cave of the Thunder King's inheritance and sat down cross-legged. Then he overlapped his palms and the innate thunder crystal lay quietly in his palms. The will of thunder and Xiao Qian's sea of consciousness felt a strange sense of familiarity with the innate thunder crystal. Without needing Xiao Qian to control it, it felt an urge to absorb the innate thunder crystal into his sea of consciousness. Instead of feasting on it, Xiao Qian had to suppress this urge, letting it absorb this innate thunder crystal step by step. The magnificent purple thunder crystal slowly floated up. When it reached the same height as Xiao Qian's forehead, a strong suction came from his forehead. A strong suction force came from between Xiao Qian's eyebrows, covering the thunder crystal and quickly pulling it into his sea of consciousness. In the boundless sea of consciousness, the form of Xiao Qian's will, the purple lightning talisman, slowly spread out according to Xiao Qian's thoughts, turning into dense purple motes of light. The purple motes of light that looked like a sea of stars surrounded the innate thunder crystal. They were like moths flying into a flame, surging over and sticking to the surface of the crystal. The thousands of purple motes of light were like newborn babies sticking to the surface of the crystal, absorbing it in large gulps. The entire process of absorbing the innate thunder crystal was very natural. There was no need for Xiao Qian to guide it. It was like an innate ability. This saved Xiao Qian a lot of effort. All he needed to do was control the rate of absorption. As Xiao Qian slowly absorbed the energy in the innate thunder crystal, a purple electric light appeared on the surface of his body. Crackling electric currents appeared in the air of the entire cave. Xiao Qian could clearly feel that his will of thunder, which had not improved for a long time, was rapidly improving. In just a few breaths, the power of thunder that Xiao Qian grasped had already strengthened significantly. If one could not control it, it would be easy for one to become addicted to it. One would not know where one's limits were, causing one to explode. Fortunately, Xiao Qian was sufficiently calm. When he felt that it was about time, he immediately forced the motes of light on the innate thunder crystal to scatter back. This was something that required a lot of willpower. The difficulty was like getting a drug addict to stop what he was doing. Pusi, a light flashed on Xiao Qian's forehead, and the purple innate thunder crystal was forced out. When he opened his eyes, Xiao Qian heaved a long sigh of relief. When he looked at the innate thunder crystal in his hand, it had shrunk slightly. If one did not look carefully, it would be hard to notice this subtle difference. One would not be able to sense anything different from before. So, I only absorbed this much, Xiao Qian muttered to himself as he put away the innate thunder crystal. Let's see how much stronger the will of thunder has become. With a thought, the form of the will of thunder, the purple talisman, flew out from his forehead. Xiao Qian held it in his hand and fiddled with it. Compared to before, aside from the stronger energy contained in this purple lightning talisman, there were also some other differences. But he couldn't pinpoint what they were. After a while, Xiao Qian's eyes lit up. He finally remembered what was different. The purple lightning talisman had become more realistic. As it lay in his hand, it looked like a talisman and not the form of the will of thunder. Although it could not compare to the materialized innate thunder crystal, such an improvement was still visible. Xiao Qian could not help feeling some anticipation. If this purple lightning talisman completely materialized in the future, would it have some of the charm of the divine lightning talisman in Misleading Fog Lake, achieving an unexpected effect? Xiao Qian let the talisman return to his sea of consciousness. Then he stood up and checked himself. Although his cultivation did not increase, the improvement of the will of thunder increased his combat prowess by at least 20%. The most direct manifestation of this was the improvement of the might of his lightning saber soul. I found it. Just at this moment, Ao Jiao let out a cry of pleasant surprise. Xiao Qian raised his eyebrows and quickly walked over. It was as he expected. What Ao Jiao found was the death fruit that he yearned for even in his dreams. This was a strange fruit that was completely formed from the condensation of the aura of death. With just a glance, one could feel the dense aura of death, making one feel extremely uncomfortable. Aside from the ghost race and corpse race cultivators who cultivated the death Tao, no one would like this aura. It really is the death fruit. However, right now, when Xiao Chun saw this genuine death fruit, his face filled with joy. Hee hee, I did not lie to you, right? I said it was here, and it was here. However, I cannot help you with the flower of life after that. You can only rely on yourself. Xiao Chun put away the death fruit and said, there is no need to worry about that. As long as it is not extinct, I am confident of finding it in the human demon sea. How to find it? Of course, he would use resources to exchange for it. He did not believe that he would not be able to find it if he offered 10 or 100 times the price. After all, although this flower of life was precious, it was not at the level of an unparalleled divine herb. After putting away the death fruit, Xiao Chun felt more relaxed as he explored the Thunder King's inheritance. He also became more casual as he wandered around. Ao Jiao accompanied Xiao Chun, acting as a free guide. She explained how each treasure came to be and what happened at that time. She was very familiar with them, speaking in great detail. In terms of scale, the treasures here were definitely not as vast as the Dragon's Gate's treasure trove on Heavenly Star Island. However, the total value was not that much lower. The Thunder King's inheritance was more exquisite and did not have as many black astral coins, divine materials, or other common resources. They were all peak secret treasures, martial techniques, cultivation techniques, and medicinal pills. Xiao Chun was not too interested in these. Even if Xiao Chun had an emperor-grade secret treasure, he would not be able to use it. It would not be as easy as using a peak-quality king-grade secret treasure. Chapter 1203. On the other hand, Xiao Chun valued some of the Thunder King's cultivation insights. There were detailed records of Emperor Wu's cultivation after that. Emperor Wu already stood at the top of the pyramid of this world. Any information about Emperor Wu, be it his cultivation or his martial techniques or destructive prowess, would be hard to find out. Without reaching that level of cultivation and entering that circle, outsiders would find it hard to understand. With the Thunder King's cultivation insights, Xiao Chun could take a peek into Emperor Wu's circle in advance. However, no matter how uninterested he was, anything here could be sold for a sky-high price if it was casually thrown out. As Xiao Chun walked around, he listened to Ao Jiao's detailed explanation. Then, he nodded and casually swept it into his universe ring. This is a set of treasured sabers known as the 7 deadly sins. They correspond to pride, envy, rage, sloth, greed, gluttony, and lust. All of them are divine weapons. Back then, the Thunder King spent a lot of effort to defeat the original owner and obtain this set of sabers. Not bad. If the 7 divine weapons are combined, their might would be no weaker than a transcendent divine weapon. This is truly good stuff. I'll take it. This is the Snow Ginseng King that has lived for 50,000 years. It can increase Emperor Wu's cultivation by 100 years. Back then, he snatched it from under the noses of a group of sovereign martial emperors in the heart of the ocean. It can even increase Emperor Wu's cultivation. It truly lives up to being an herb king. I'll take it. This is a medial-grade, profound martial technique. Unfortunately, it is a sword Dao martial technique. You will not be able to learn it. It is not unfortunate. There are more people who study the sword than the saber in this world. If you change hands, you will be able to fetch a sky-high price. I'll take it. This medallion seems to be an ancestral keepsake of one of the 9 ranks of the great families. I wonder if this sect still exists. An ancestral keepsake? That is definitely not an ordinary item. I'll take it. This is a soul-charming grass. It is a peak-grade divine herb for nourishing the soul. It is also very valuable. However, you cannot take it. This is what I want. By the time Ao Jiao finished explaining, there was not a single treasure left in the hall. Xiao Chun had kept all of them into his universe ring. Although Xiao Chun had no use for the things here at the moment, and many of them might not even be of use in the future. However, every single one of them was priceless, and every single one of them was an unimaginable harvest for ordinary people. The treasures that the Thunder King left behind were all of high quality. It would be a pity to lose any one of them. To Xiao Chun, the most practical items were naturally the innate thunder crystal and the death fruit. The former contained boundless energy. Xiao Chun did not know how strong his will of thunder would become after he finished devouring it. Perhaps, before he reached Emperor Wu's level, he had already materialized his will of thunder and formed his own innate thunder crystal. As for the latter, its practicality was self-evident. It was one of the two necessities for cultivating the life and death art. After looking around the empty Thunder King treasure trove, Ao Jiao sighed, somewhat speechless. From now on, the heavy mark of the Thunder King in this world was gone. Xiao Chun, I would like to stay here for a while longer, Ao Jiao said. Xiao Chun nodded to indicate his understanding. As the saying went, seeing something reminds one of the person. When one revisited an old place, it was hard not to recall the people and matters of the past. Xiao Chun needed to properly digest the shock that the innate thunder crystal brought him. Now, that it was very difficult to raise one's cultivation, it was extremely difficult for Xiao Chun to raise his combat prowess. To Xiao Chun, Sang Mu's innate thunder crystal was like sending charcoal in snowy weather. As Xiao Chun absorbed the energy of the innate thunder crystal, he familiarized himself with the might of the strengthened lightning saber soul. Hence, he was not bored. After 1 hour, Ao Jiao tossed the key into the treasure trove. Then, she closed the heavy stone doors with a creak. The history of the Thunder King was completely sealed behind these stone doors. Xiao Chun opened his eyes, not knowing what to say. He thought about how he had only met the Thunder King once. That was not a true meeting, just the mental mark that the Thunder King left on his weapon. However, from this one meeting, Xiao Chun knew what kind of person the Thunder King was. Xiao Chun felt it was a great pity for the Thunder King's death. Xiao Chun swore to himself that one day he would find the true murderer of the Thunder King. Then, he would cast aside the dense fog and kill the enemy hiding in the shadows. Ao Jiao's expression recovered somewhat. She smiled faintly and said, "Where are we going now? Are we going directly to the large merchant associations to search for news of the Flower of Life? Or are we going to the Sioux clan first?" Xiao Chun answered without hesitation, "Let's go to the Sioux clan first. It is better to deal with the matter that we promised those people first. I also want to know if there is still a gap between me and the half-step Emperor Wu." If everything went as expected, when Wang Feng returned, he would definitely tell the half-step Emperor Wu, who oversaw the Sioux clan, about his encounter at the Sioux clan. Hence, before Wang Feng left, he reminded Wang Feng that if the Wang clan's half-step Emperor Wu really came to kill him, Wang Feng should deal with him first and not clash head-on. Wang Feng should wait until he returned. The Sioux clan city was built in this vast mountain range. It was not very far from the Thunder King's inheritance. Xiao Chun did not spend much time before he rushed back to the city lord's residence. The instant Xiao Chun landed, he felt that something was wrong. The guards at the city lord's residence were nowhere to be seen. Even the signboard of the city lord's residence had been torn in half. The aura of an intense battle lingered in the air. Xiao Chun's expression changed as he rushed in. In the end, he discovered that there was not a single person in the city lord's residence. Occasionally, there were bloodstains on the ground. The signs of a battle were very obvious. However, it was not particularly intense. The entire city lord's residence was still relatively intact. After searching the city lord's residence, Xiao Chun did not see a single living person or corpse. This was extremely strange. Xiao Chun frowned and entered deep thought. The city lord's residence was not severely damaged. This meant that the battle did not take long. For someone to be able to sweep through the entire Sioux clan city lord's residence so quickly, there was only one possibility. That half-step Emperor Wu of the Wang clan had personally made a move. Not only that, but all the peak experts of the Wang clan had also made a move. It looks like I said something that I should not have. I hope that I did not cause any big trouble. Before Xiao Chun let Wang Feng go, he had said that for every Sioux clan member he killed, he would kill 10 Wang clan members. Perhaps this had touched the other party's reverse scale. Since the other party did not know of Xiao Chun's reputation, they might go berserk. This was especially so for the half-step Emperor Wu of the Wang clan. When he heard that this was just a brat of unknown origins, he might go even more extreme. You had best not do anything stupid. I'm not someone who jokes around. Seeing that the city lord's residence was empty, Xiao Qin's expression turned cold. After saying this with eyes filled with killing qi, his figure flashed, and he left the city lord's residence. With such a huge commotion, the ordinary people in the city should have heard some news. Right now, Xiao Qin only wanted to know what had happened to the Su clan members. Were they dead or alive? Are you asking about the Su clan? What is your relationship with the Su clan? Xiao Qin asked casually as he stopped a passerby in the city. When the passerby heard Xiao Qin's question, his expression changed drastically, turning cautious. I have nothing to do with the Su clan. I was just going to look for a friend. In the end, when I went to the city lord's residence, I discovered that it was completely empty. Just help me out and tell me what happened. The passerby's expression made Xiao Qin's heart sink. So, he took out some black astral coins and handed them over. After the passerby received the black astral coins, his expression improved. He said, 2 days ago, the Wang clan's clan head suddenly came out of closed-door cultivation. Then, he led all the elites of the Wang clan and charged into the city lord's residence. Using the strength of the half-step Emperor Wu, he swept through all the experts of the Su clan and brought them all to Scorching Flame City. Xiao Qin felt suspicious. He asked, since the Wang clan is so strong, why did they let the Su clan exist for so long? Why did they not make a move earlier? This is something you do not know. The Su clan's ancestor, Emperor Su He, had some good friends when he was alive. Although the Wang clan had friends as well, they did not dare to make things too ugly. They only tried to force the Su clan out of Scorching Flame Island. This time, I heard that the Su clan hired a helper to injure a supreme elder of the Wang clan, angering the Wang clan's clan head. So, they did not bother to give him any face. Xiao Qin sent this person away and entered deep thought. He made a move 2 days ago. 2 days ago, it happened to be around the time when Xiao Qin entered the Thunder King's inheritance. The Su clan moved really fast. Wang Feng did not take Xiao Qin's advice to heart at all. Does he really think that I am just a great perfection blue-robed emperor? It looks like Xiao Qin is indeed too kind at times. A light flashed, and Xiao Qin soared into the air. Then, he quickly flew towards the core of the island, Scorching Flame City. Xiao Qin unfurled the freedom wings and executed Thunder Dragon steps. Then, he flew as fast as lightning. Xiao Qin was somewhat surprised to discover that the strengthening of his will of thunder allowed him to control lightning-attributed energy even more smoothly. 1 step, 2 steps, 3 steps, Xiao Qin broke through the previous limit of 12 steps. Now he could take 15 steps in an instant. When he executed the Thunder Dragon Chop after 15 steps, its might would probably double. This was a pleasant surprise. Not only did it increase the speed of Thunder Dragon steps, but also increased the might of the Thunder Dragon Chop. Inside Scorching Flame City, the Su clan's clan head, the group of elders, and the Su clan's disciples were all severely injured in the largest plaza in the city. Tied with ropes, Xiao Qin knelt in front of the many cultivators in the plaza. A Wang clan bladesman, holding a large saber, stood beside every kneeling Su clan member. With one order, they could decapitate all the Su clan members, dying without a complete corpse. The Wang clan's clan head, Wang Feng, and the other Wang clan cultivators stood on a tall platform in the plaza, looking down coldly at this group of prisoners. The Wang clan's clan head, Wang Yang, sat in the middle. His aged face was cold and filled with killing qi. He was expressionless, and the might that flowed out of his body inspired fear in everyone who looked at him. The aura of the half-step Emperor Wu made him the center of attention just by sitting there. Wang Yang looked indifferently at the Su clan's clan head and said, Su Tianyun, all these years, I have not completely wiped out your Su clan. You know the reason. It is not that I, Wang Yang, do not have the ability to do so. It is that your dead ancestor still has some influence. However, don't think that I can't do anything to you. Chapter 1204. The Su clan's clan head, Su Tianyun, had a fatigued expression. Wounds covered his body as he pleaded, This time, I was wrong. I did not want to ask for too much. How about giving my Su clan's juniors a way out? Crippling their cultivations and turning them into ordinary people would be fine. Just sparing their lives would be sufficient. Wang Yang said coldly, "Now you know to beg me? It's not that I did not give you a chance. However, not only did you not grasp it, but you even brought people to injure several of my Wang clan's elders. You even spouted nonsense, saying that for every person I killed from your Su clan, I would kill 10 from my Wang clan. You are truly overturning the heavens." At the end of his speech, Wang Yang showed a furious expression as he suddenly stood up. The half-step Emperor Wu's strong aura immediately spread out, forcing the cultivators watching outside the plaza to take a few steps back involuntarily. "Today, I will kill your entire Su clan. Let's see how you're going to take revenge on my Wang clan." The moment Wang Yang said this, the expressions of all the Su clan members kneeling on the ground changed drastically. Their eyes filled with horror at the impending death. Su Tianyun clenched his teeth. There was no horror in his eyes, only some regret. The appearance of Shao Chun did not have much to do with the Su clan falling into such a state. He was just a fuse. Actually, Su Tianyun should have realized that the old ancestor's favor would not last for long. Su Tianyun was once so glorious. Now he was just a dead man. Furthermore, he had been dead for 500 years. As time passed, those relationships of the past were no longer reliable. However, Su Tianyun could not see it clearly. He thought that if he dragged things out, there would be a day when the situation would change, allowing the Su clan to become the overlord of Scorching Flame Island again. Unfortunately, that day did not come. Instead, Su Tianyun missed the opportunity to leave, turning his entire clan into prisoners, waiting to be slaughtered. Actually, Su Tianyun could not be blamed. If not for fulfilling the old ancestor's promise, he would not have remained on this Scorching Flame Island. Compared to the Su clan's elders, Wang Yang was much more indifferent to his attachment to power. The Wang clan's clan head, Wang Yang, swept his gaze around like he was waiting for someone to appear. However, after a while, no one appeared. He retracted his gaze, made a gesture, and said indifferently, "Do it." Immediately, the Wang clan bladesmen in the plaza raised their butcher knives. When they landed, the heads of all the Su clan cultivators would fall to the ground. Many of the cultivators watching from outside the plaza could not bear to watch. Who would have thought that the once mighty Su clan would fall to such a state? Killing chi permeated the plaza. Many of the Su clan descendants could not help but start sobbing. Clang! Just then, a resonant saber hum suddenly rang out outside the city. The sound wave carried with it a boundlessly powerful saber intent, blowing away the thick clouds in the sky. Suddenly, the sunlight doubled in brightness. All the bladesmen in the plaza felt like they could not hold on to their weapons. As the saber hum rang out, it trembled violently. Finally, it struggled free with a boom and flew into the air. The Wang clan bladesman, who was about to make a move, was no exception. In the sky above the square, countless sabers of all kinds were gathered. They buzzed and trembled, forming a shocking spectacle. What a strong saber intent. That person's saber soul is at least 50% comprehended. This is an incredible bladesman. With one saber hum, he shocked the thousands of bladesmen in the plaza. This is really shocking. Could this person be the mysterious bladesman who injured several of the Wang clan elders? In an instant, the square became chaotic. Everyone's gazes turned to the source of the sound, and they were extremely curious. The Wang clan's clan head, who sat in the middle of the tall platform, was not shocked. Instead, he rejoiced. A heavy murderous intent flashed in his eyes. Pusii, a purple lightning dragon, streaked across the sky. It was so fast that no one could catch it with the naked eye. Everywhere it passed, the strong saber intent shattered all the treasured sabers in the sky. When the lightning dragon landed, it turned into a white figure holding a saber. Who else could it be but Shao Chun? Shao Chun clapped his hands, and a boundless saber chi swept through the plaza in a seemingly chaotic manner. The ropes binding the Su clan's people all shattered. I have been searching for you for 2 days, but I did not see you. I thought that you were a coward, running off without a trace after taking the Thunder King's inheritance. Unexpectedly, you really dared to show yourself. Wang Yang smiled faintly as he said something unperturbed, surprising Xiao Chun. Unexpectedly, Wang Yang also knew about the existence of the Thunder King's inheritance and even laid a trap for Xiao Chun. Although Xiao Chun was surprised, his face did not change at all. No one could tell what he was thinking, making him appear unfathomable. Hand over the Thunder King's inheritance, and I'll let you live. Also, I can spare the Su clan's trash. Wang Yang had heard about the news of the Thunder King's inheritance long ago. After all, Su had been on Scorching Flame Island for more than 1,000 years. There would always be some clues about it. As the local tyrant of Scorching Flame Island, as long as Wang Yang investigated seriously, he would be able to find some clues and find out the truth. However, the information Wang Yang obtained was that unless one truly possessed the inheritance, even if one obtained the Su clan's key, it would be difficult to enter the Thunder King's inheritance. Hence, Wang Yang had not tried to force his way in. He did not hold much hope for the Thunder King's inheritance, either. Firstly, this piece of meat was too juicy, and Wang Yang was afraid of choking himself. Secondly, the Thunder King's inheritance was not easy to enter. However, Wang Yang had already figured out Xiao Qin's identity through the spies in the city lord's residence. Naturally, Wang Yang could not miss out on the Thunder King's inheritance that delivered itself to him. At most, he would just give the peak treasures to the faction behind him. Xiao Chun said indifferently, "This is rare. You laid such a big trap to bait me. Do you really think that you could defeat me?" Wang Yang revealed a mocking smile. There is no lack of demonic geniuses and outstanding talents in the human demon sea. As a consummation blue-robed emperor, he could defeat the half-step Emperor Wu. However, you are a great perfection blue-robed emperor. It is impossible for you to defeat me. I hope that you will not make a decision that you will regret. Xiao Chun ignored Wang Yang. He glanced around and fixed his gaze on Wang Feng, who stood beside Wang Yang. When Wang Feng saw Xiao Chun look over, he instinctively felt some fear and took a step back. Wang Feng could not help but think. Then, he cursed in his heart, with the clan head guarding here. Why am I afraid of this brat? What are you looking at? Are you thinking of killing me? Wang Feng cursed boldly. Xiao Chun said indifferently. There is no need to be in such a rush to die. It is not your turn yet. Half-step Emperor Wu Wang Yang, do you dare to fight me? Xiao Chun stepped forward and glared at Wang Yang. If he wanted to kill Wang Feng, he had to kill this half-step Emperor Wu first. As long as this half-step Emperor Wu Wang Yang died, none of the Wang clan cultivators would be able to block 10 moves from him. The white-clad Xiao Chun faced the unperturbed half-step Emperor Wu in a neither servile nor overbearing manner as he issued his challenge. You want to fight me? Interesting. Receive 1 move from me first. Wang Yang put on airs, looking down on Xiao Chun. He did not accept Xiao Chun's challenge. Without even standing up, he threw a palm strike. Boom! When Wang Yang threw a palm strike, mysterious phenomena appeared behind him. A pillar of fire soared into the sky, instantly burning half the sky. With this palm strike, a strong will of fire appeared without a doubt. Wang Yang truly lived up to being a soul blood demon with a high demonic flame demon bloodline. When the palm wind swept over, a startling heat wave formed a huge, formless flaming hand. It was like a heaven-subduing rock pressing down. He truly lives up to being the strongest overlord of Scorching Flame Island. Wang Yang's palm strike is really strong. I wonder where this white-clad person came from. A great perfection blue-robed emperor dares to challenge a half-step Emperor Wu? He must be tired of living. He overestimates himself. The 10 outstanding talents can challenge a half-step Emperor Wu. That is because they are consummation blue-robed emperors. This white-clad bladesman is too confident. It seems like since ancient times, not many people have been able to cross 2 cultivation realms and defeat a half-step Emperor Wu. The crowd, which originally held some expectations for Xiao Chun, all turned to Wang Yang's side after they saw Wang Yang's strength. They shook their heads and sighed. I hope you can continue putting on airs. Xiao Chun replied indifferently. Then, he pushed off the ground and unleashed his peak consummation will of thunder. Thunder clouds instantly filled the sky, and thunder roared, encasing a large area behind Shao Chun. His vast and majestic aura actually seemed to overshadow Wang Yang's blazing sky. This was still not enough. With a thought, Shao Chun brought out his 60% comprehended saber soul. The saber soul merged with the will of thunder, forming a strong lightning saber soul. As Shao Chun stood there, he looked like a divine weapon burning with electricity. Just as the palm wind was about to arrive, he drew the lunar shadow saber in his hand. A magnificent purple blade light was unleashed, accompanied by thunderclaps that resounded in the sky and lightning that tore the sky apart. Shao Chun shouted, and Wang Yang's palm strike, which was burning with flames and had an overwhelming aura, broke with one saber strike. Relaxed and casual. In terms of aura, Shao Chun was no weaker than Wang Yang's. Shao Chun used the simplest action to silently tell everyone here, "Wang Yang, you are not qualified to put on airs before me." This was like a resounding slap on Wang Yang's ear. Not only is the white-robed Shao Chun qualified to fight with you, but he can also easily break the martial technique you use to test me. Kill. This was the first time Shao Chun faced the half-step Emperor Wu head-on. He did not hold anything back. He unleashed his strong will of thunder and his 60% comprehended saber soul. With the consummation will of thunder, the 60% comprehended saber soul, and Shao Chun's 10,000 heavenly laws, Shao Chun did not lose to Wang Yang in terms of strength. In terms of strength, Shao Chun did not lose to Wang Yang at all. Even though Wang Yang was a half-step martial emperor, he did not lose at all. When Shao Chun flew over, he startled the Wang clan's people. They quickly fled, afraid of getting caught up in the shock waves of the battle. The shock waves from the flames and saber chi scattered everywhere. The rescued Su clan's people in the plaza and the surrounding cultivators quickly scattered, distancing themselves from the battlefield. The seated Wang Yang could no longer maintain his calm and indifferent appearance when Shao Chun broke the palm wind and sent out a resplendent and dazzling saber strike. Chapter 12:05. A pair of black divine metal gloves appeared on Wang Yang's hands. He clenched them into fists and shouted a war cry as he stood up and punched. This punch was Wang Yang's signature killing move. When he punched, 18 pillars of fire burst out from behind him, looking like they wanted to shatter the sky. However, this punch that Wang Yang placed his hopes on failed to gain an overwhelming advantage, knocking back Shao Chun. Shao Chun executed the Thunder Dragon Chop. He took 12 steps. With each step, 1,000 purple lightning dragons shot out from under his feet, baring their fangs and roaring ferociously. By the time Shao Chun finished his 12 steps, more than 10,000 lightning dragons had gathered behind him. The huge scene of 10,000 dragons soaring in the air pressed down on Wang Yang. At the start, Wang Yang had put on airs and refused to stand up. By the time he stood up, he discovered that he had already lost the initiative against Shao Chun, whose aura had erupted. There was a price to pay for putting on airs. Bang! The saber light and the fist light clashed. Countless cracks immediately appeared under the two's feet. The entire vast plaza instantly crumbled. Dust flew everywhere, and all the buildings in the square were instantly blown to smithereens. Blood leaked out of a corner of Wang Yang's lips. Shao Chun's tyrannical saber strike pressed his body into the ground. Horror flashed in Wang Yang's eyes. He discovered that his greatest advantage in cultivation was useless against Shao Chun. For some reason, Shao Chun, who was only a great perfection blue-robed emperor, actually had a will of thunder that reached the peak, even higher than Wang Yang's. Shao Chun's saber soul had even reached 60% comprehension. This was incredible. Without giving Wang Yang any time to think, Shao Chun took the initiative and gained the upper hand. Then he executed the 1,000-year hegemony establishment again. The densely packed city looked like a banner. As Shao Chun stood on the imperial capital, he swung his saber and materialized an immortal dynasty with the tyranny of kingship. The saber light contained the luck of a dynasty, for 1,000 years. When the will of thunder reached its peak, Xiao Chun gained a new comprehension of the 1,000-year hegemony establishment. Every time he executed it, it was much better than the previous time. Standing on the imperial city, one figure after another appeared amidst the mysterious phenomena. They knelt in all directions and called out loudly, "Long live our emperor, the Azure Dragon King." Throughout the ages, the dynasty would not be destroyed. The heart of a king would always be domineering. This saber strike displayed the domineering aura of a king whose heart was higher than the sky and who looked down on all outstanding talents, giving off an overwhelming aura. I don't care if you're a half-step Emperor Wu, you have to kneel on the ground. This peerlessly tyrannical saber strike shocked everyone. No one expected Xiao Chun to erupt with such a startling medial-grade, profound martial technique. As a great perfection blue-robed emperor, it was already not easy for him to use a medial-grade, profound martial technique as a killing move. However, now, not only did Xiao Chun execute it proficiently, but he even managed to integrate it and reach small perfection. This was simply unbelievable. This white-robed bladesman's talent was too strong and demonic. With this saber strike, Wang Yang, who was already at a disadvantage, no longer had any thoughts of fighting back. He just defended with all his might. Wang Yang drove the vast heavenly laws. Because he drove the power of the world too frequently, the surrounding scenery spun continuously. Of course, the world did not truly spin. It was just that the power of the world was too vast, giving off a mysterious phenomenon of the world spinning. Of course, the world wasn't really rotating. It was just that the power of the world was too great, causing people to feel as if the world was spinning. When the crowd discovered the real scene, Wang Yang condensed a thick wall of flames in front of him. The dense flames turned into solid divine flame bricks, piling together and forming a thick and dense wall. The dense flames transformed into numerous, seemingly solid fiery bricks that piled up together to form a thick and condensed wall. The dense flames turned into solid divine flame bricks, piling up together and forming a thick and dense wall. After Xiao Chun executed the 1,000-year hegemony establishment and condensed the luck of a dynasty, he brought out the full strength of Wang Yang's half-step Emperor Wu. However, it was useless. Wang Yang lost the initiative and lost all momentum. After Xiao Chun executed the 1,000-year hegemony establishment and condensed the luck of a dynasty, the defensive move that Wang Yang executed could not block this horrifying saber strike. Wang Yansang's defensive move could not block this peerlessly terrifying blade. The sound of "Long Live" shook the heavens and the earth. When the blade fell, it instantly cut through the divine wall of fire. With a cracking sound, the light of the saber cut through the divine wall of flames and fell slowly towards Wang Yang. Wang Yang's face filled with horror. He had not expected that after Xiao Chun seized the initiative, the medial-grade martial technique he executed would be so horrifying. Bang! When the divine flame wall was completely chopped in half, the saber strike knocked Wang Yang back. The armor on his chest shattered, and he vomited a large mouthful of blood. When he landed, his hair was disheveled, looking very miserable. In just a short 3 moves, Xiao Chun, who seized the initiative, put Wang Yang at a disadvantage. These 3 moves boosted Xiao Chun's confidence. The seemingly undefeatable half-step Emperor Wu was not as horrifying as the rumors made him out to be. At the very least, this Wang Yang before Xiao Chun was only SOSO. Without a medial-grade profound martial technique or a profound cultivation technique, just by relying on his strong cultivation, there was nothing to fear. Of course, Xiao Chun was not overly arrogant. For such a half-step Emperor Wu, as long as he did not deal a fatal blow, it would be very difficult to severely injure him. Not only was the other party the blue-robed emperor who merged his soul with the heavenly seal, but he also survived the great tribulation of wind and fire. The resilience of his life force was terrifyingly strong. Xiao Chun wanted to test his combat prowess, to see where the limits of his combat prowess were. After sending Wang Yang flying with 1 saber strike, Xiao Chun did not charge over. Instead, he stopped and looked coldly to the front. Half-step Emperor Wu, you are only SOSO. Today, I will let you accept your defeat wholeheartedly, giving you a chance to catch your breath. The moment Xiao Chun said this, everyone was stunned. This white-robed bladesman was really arrogant. How arrogant! Your strength is indeed unexpectedly strong. However, if you want to defeat me like this, it is far from enough. Even the great tribulation of wind and fire on the Emperor's road could not finish me off. You definitely cannot kill me, either. Wang Yang's hair fluttered in the wind with a sinister expression, looking like a clump of blazing flames. Xiao Chun stood upright while holding his saber. He said indifferently, "Is that so? Let's see how long you can last." Kill. Giving the other party a chance to catch his breath, Xiao Chun did not hesitate to execute Thunder Dragon steps and quickly clashed with Wang Yang again. At this moment, Wang Yang no longer held back. His vast law energy materialized a boundless flame as he moved his fist and palm. With every punch and palm strike, Wang Yang kicked up a huge wave. The flame was like a pillar burning through the sky. Xiao Chun materialized his flawless saber, Dao, and materialized the blue dragon battle armor. His body merged with his saber, clashing intensely with the other party amid the thousands of bolts of lightning. By relying on the strong blue dragon battle armor, Xiao Chun's physical body surpassed the other parties by a significant margin. As they clashed head-on, Xiao Chun relied on his skills with the saber and his strong physical body. In this tug-of-war, Xiao Chun actually managed to slowly shift the advantage back to his side. Two figures flickered endlessly in the sky, exchanging blows until the sky turned dark and the ground spun around. The horrifying, mysterious phenomena accompanied the lightning and flames made it impossible to see the situation inside. The originally confident Wang clan's people now felt very nervous as they stared at the battle in the sky. However, they were unable to see anything amidst the chaos. This caused a group of people to feel even more apprehensive. Whoosh! Suddenly, a fiery light shot out from the chaotic, mysterious phenomena, heading into the distance like a sharp arrow. In the blink of an eye, it disappeared from Scorching Flame Island's perimeter. Its speed was incredible. That is Wang Yang's flowing light flying flame evasion. Damn! Wang Yang actually ran away. It seemed like Wang Yang's evasion technique was very famous. When the group saw that lightning-like flame, they recognized it and were flabbergasted. The overlord of Scorching Flame Island, the half-step Emperor Wu, Wang Yang, was forced to flee by this white-robed bladesman of unknown origins. The lightning and flames slowly scattered. As Xiao Chun watched the half-step Emperor Wu, Wang Yang, leave, he could not do anything. The other party was a half-step Emperor Wu, and he was determined to flee. With Xiao Chun's current strength, it would be hard for him to keep the other party here. However, with such a result, it was enough to shake the world. A great perfection blue-robed emperor scared away a half-step Emperor Wu. Such news would soon spread throughout the entire northern demonic sea. The Wang clan's people below paled. They had not expected Wang Yang to abandon them and flee. After they reacted, they cried out and quickly scattered. Xiao Chun swept his gaze around and fixed it on Wang Feng. A murderous intent flashed in his eyes. Wang Feng had already made it very clear that if there was a problem, Wang Feng should take it out on him. In the end, Wang Feng even dragged the entire Su clan into this. Such a person deserved to be killed. Xiao Chun's figure flashed. He did not care about anyone else, taking the lead to block this person. When Wang Feng saw Xiao Chun in front, he was startled and immediately turned to flee. However, no matter how fast Wang Feng was, how could he be faster than Xiao Chun, who had already reached great perfection with the Thunder Dragon steps? An electric figure shot out from under Wang Feng's feet. With a flash, Xiao Chun blocked Wang Feng again. This repeated a few times until Wang Feng was on the verge of collapsing. He sank into madness. "I'll fight it out with you." Xiao Chun remained expressionless, cold and silent. He was like an emotionless machine as he drew his saber precisely. Using his flawless saber Dao, he slaughtered Wang Feng. After 10 moves, Xiaoqun chopped off Wang Feng's head with one saber strike. When Xiaoqun looked back, the entire plaza was in chaos. The Wang clan's cultivators had all vanished, fleeing quickly. However, after this battle, the Wang family's foundation and prestige could be said to have been completely scattered. They wanted to rebuild it. If they wanted to rebuild themselves, aside from defeating Xiaoqun, there was no other way. However, Wang Yang, who had already fled, probably would not have the courage to return. After arriving before the Su clan's clan head, Su Tianhe, Xiaoqun handed over some medicinal pills for treating injuries that he obtained from the Thunder King's inheritance. He said, "Sorry for implicating you in the end. Here are some peak-quality king-grade medicinal pills. They should be able to heal your injuries quickly." The Su clan's direct bloodline descendants and elders were all severely injured. Otherwise, they would not have been tied up with ropes. With Xiaoqun's medicinal pills, recovering quickly would not be a problem. Su Tianhe asked, "Did you obtain the Thunder King's inheritance?" Chapter 1206. Xiaoqun understood the other party's meaning. He nodded and said, "I have indeed obtained it. However, don't worry. I will remain on Scorching Flame Island for some time. I will leave after the Su clan stabilizes its situation." After obtaining this promise, Su Tianhe finally revealed a smile on his face. After 3 days, the Su clan controlled the entire Scorching Flame city. The Su clan's clan head, Su Tianhe, was rather capable. Of course, the main reason was still Xiaoqun's tyranny. He had severely injured Wang Yang, the spiritual leader of the Wang clan, and forced him to flee. This had caused the Wang clan's people to lose their fighting spirit. After that, Xiaoqun killed the consummation blue-robed emperor in 10 saber strikes, frightening the group of Wang clan elders. Xiaoqun occasionally made a move, crippling the cultivation of some of the stubborn Wang clan elders. The entire situation stabilized. In merely 3 days, Xiaoqun allowed the Su clan to regain its position as the overlord of Scorching Flame Island. With a flip of his hand, he toppled a large clan. Furthermore, the name of the white-robed bladesman spread throughout the entire northern Demon Sea after that startling battle that day. The news of a great perfection blue-robed emperor forcing back a half-step emperor Wu spread throughout the archipelago of the northern Demon Sea. Since ancient times, not many people had managed to do such a thing. At the very least, the human Demon Sea had not heard of such a thing in the past several thousand years. Several people even secretly compared Xiaoqun to the 10 outstanding talents of the human Demon Sea. As for Xiaoqun's true identity, there were many different opinions as well. No matter where this fellow goes, his glory cannot be hidden. When Dugu Ao heard the news in the Dugu clan's castle, he was stunned for a moment. Then he knew that this white-robed bladesman had to be Xiaoqun, so he did not find it strange. Back in the 8-star Dragon Grave, Dugu Ao already knew of Xiaoqun's strength. At that time, Xiaoqun could already fight a regular half-step Emperor Wu to a draw. With his talent and the speed of his improvement, defeating an unknown half-step Emperor Wu wasn't too surprising. As for comparing Xiaoqun to the 10 outstanding talents, Dugu Ao scoffed at it and dismissed it with a laugh. The 10 outstanding talents of the human Demon Sea were all in their 40s, more than 10 years older than Xiaoqun. There was no comparison at all. Even so, Dugu Ao insisted that only the top 5 of the 10 outstanding talents could hold their own against Xiaoqun. The others who were ranked at the bottom would not be a match for Xiaoqun. If they underestimated Xiaoqun, they would lose miserably. "Young master, Miss Mushian is here. She is looking for you in the hall." Dugu Ao, who was deep in thought, was interrupted by a servant. However, when he heard what the servant said, he withdrew his unhappy expression. "You can leave now. I understand." Dugu Ao muttered. "Why is she here? Is she here for the human demon paradise?" On Scorching Flame Island, Xiaoqun cultivated alone in the quiet courtyard that Su Tianhe arranged for him. After the Su clan stabilized the situation on Scorching Flame Island, Xiaoqun did not leave in a rush. On one hand, he wanted to wait for the injured Wang Yang to charge back and deal with him. On the other hand, he wanted to stabilize his strength. It had to be said that the greatest wealth of the Thunder King's inheritance, the innate Thunder Crystal, gave Xiao Qin too much help. The innate Thunder Crystal directly raised Xiao Qin's will of thunder to peak consummation. Furthermore, the form of the will of thunder became even more divine. Now that Xiao Qin took it out by itself, if an ordinary person saw it, they would not be able to tell that it was a form of the will of thunder. Xiao Qin continued to absorb the energy in the innate Thunder Crystal. After another 7 days, he felt that his will of thunder had reached its limit, reaching a point where it could no longer be improved. The Thunder King's innate Thunder Crystal had also shrunk significantly. Xiao Qin could clearly feel the soul of thunder swimming in it through the purple crystal. Xiao Qin knew that this was a sign that his will of thunder had reached its limit and could no longer be improved. If it improved further, it would break through to the innate Thunder Crystal. However, with his current cultivation, forcibly absorbing Sang Mu's innate Thunder Crystal and making a breakthrough would be too dangerous. After all, not many people under Emperor Wu could break through to the innate Thunder Crystal. This was a qualitative change in turning something illusory into something solid. After comprehending the innate Thunder Crystal, one could control the power of true lightning and many other mysterious changes. The instant one turned illusory into something solid, one's entire body and soul would undergo a baptism of lightning. Right now, Xiao Qin was only a great perfection blue-robed emperor. Even with Sang Mu's innate Thunder Crystal, he did not dare to try it rashly. At this stage, if Xiao Qin wanted to raise his combat prowess, he could only think of a way to raise his saber soul to 60% comprehension. However, Xiao Qin's saber soul already reached 60% comprehension. Furthermore, he had only broken through recently. If he wanted to make another breakthrough, it would not be easy. Based on a regular blue-robed emperor's cultivation, the current Xiao Qin was already at a bottleneck in all aspects of the blue-robed emperor stage. What Xiao Qin needed to do next was to cultivate quietly and merge the soul in his sea of consciousness with the heavenly seal, forming the vague form of the heart of an emperor. If Xiao Qin did not have a fortuitous encounter and did not have sufficient comprehension ability, he would be stuck at this stage forever, never knowing how to merge the soul with the heavenly seal. If Xiao Qin's comprehension ability was sufficient, he only needed to wait quietly at this stage for a few years. Perhaps in 2 or 3 years, or even decades, he would naturally understand the mysteries of the consummation blue-robed emperor that could only be understood but not explained. Xiao Qin definitely had sufficient comprehension ability. However, he did not have that much time to wait. He could not even wait for 2 or 3 years. It had already been more than a year since he advanced to martial emperor in 5 years. He did not have much time left. Xiao Qin needed to condense a heart of an emperor in advance and overtake others, skipping the 2 or 3 years of waiting to advance to consummation blue-robed emperor. In short, Xiao Qin needed the flower of life urgently. Outside the secluded courtyard, there was a series of footsteps that kept pacing back and forth, coming and going. Xiao Qin put away the essence stone in his hand and stopped the heavenly seal from absorbing spiritual energy. Then, he opened his eyes and checked with his spiritual sense. He saw Su Tianyun standing outside the courtyard, hesitating on whether to enter or not. After thinking for a while, Xiao Qin roughly guessed why the other party was here. Now that everything in the city was settled, what else did the other party have to worry about? Naturally, it was the Wang clan's half-step Emperor Wu, Wang Yang, who was still alive. "Old Mr. Su, if you have anything to say, come in and speak." Xiao Qin stood up and sent a voice projection. Then, he walked out and received the other party in the courtyard. When Su Tianyun saw Xiao Qin, he appeared somewhat hesitant and excited. He did not know what to say. After thinking for a while, he asked, "Young Master Xiao, when do you intend to leave? 3 days at the latest, or daybreak at the fastest?" "So fast?" Su Tianyun exclaimed in shock, clearly surprised. Xiao Qin said calmly, "I know what you're worried about. Is it about Wang Yang?" When Su Tianyun heard that, he heaved a sigh of relief. Since Xiao Qin guessed it, there was no need to hide it. "I do not know what to do, either. I know that I cannot beg young Master Xiao to remain on Scorching Flame Island. However, if young Master Xiao leaves, Wang Yang can make a comeback at any time. Xiao Chan smiled and said, "Given your strength, you could be considered a peak consummation blue-robed emperor. If I give you a divine weapon or an emperor-grade secret treasure, you should not fear Wang Yang, right?" When Su Tianyan heard that, joy flashed on his face. However, he immediately felt incredulous. A divine weapon or an emperor-grade secret treasure was extremely precious. Even the 9 ranks of the great families were only that much. Of course, there are additional conditions for me to give you a divine weapon or an emperor-grade secret treasure. Truth be told, my true identity is the Blue Dragon King personally appointed by the Prime of the Bushin Palace, the Thunder King. Xiao Chun slowly said the words that he had prepared long ago. I am the descendant of the Qing Emperor and have my own conferred land in the heavenly starry ocean. If you are willing to accept the divine weapon, then this Scorching Flame Island will be my overseas conferred land under my jurisdiction. After a pause, Xiao Chun continued, If you are unwilling, I can only advise you to give up on Scorching Flame Island. I will personally escort your Sioux clan out of this place and find a place for you to settle down in the northern Demon Sea. You should know that the weak are prey to the strong. Even if I help you kill Wang Yang, I won't be able to protect you. You don't have the strength yourself, and if you occupy such a large land of resources, there will definitely be other forces that have designs on you. These words contain too much information, causing Su Tianyan to sink into deep thought. Should he agree or not? Su Tianyan seemed to be in a dilemma. If he agreed, it would be equivalent to surrendering the entire Su clan to Xiao Chun. If he did not agree, it would be as Xiao Chun said. In this world where the strong preyed on the weak, the Su clan would not be able to occupy Scorching Flame Island with its current strength. This placed him in a difficult position, not knowing how to make a decision. Xiao Chun did not force the other party. He did not care. There were not many divine weapons or emperor-grade secret treasures in the Thunder King's inheritance. Giving up even one would cause heartache. Xiao Chun had already done all he could, not letting the Su clan down. The choice would depend on the other party. If Su Tianyan agreed, he could use the value of one divine weapon to expand his overseas conferred land. That would not be a loss. In the future, Kim Taeho's Green Dragon Chamber of Commerce could expand to the Human Demon Sea and develop quickly. Xiao Chun said calmly, Mr. Su, there is no need to rush to answer me. Tell me after you have thought it through. I will not leave before daybreak. Wait a moment. Su Tianyan called out to Xiao Chun, who was turning around. Young Master Xiao, I agree. Xiao Chun turned around and asked, You've thought it through? Determination flashed on Su Tianyan's face. He nodded heavily and said, I've thought it through. I believe that young Master Xiao is a trustworthy person. Xiao Chun waved his hand and said, There is no need to say that. I'm not a good person. You have seen my means. However, I do things in an open and above-board manner. I will not beat around the bush. You can rest assured about that. Xiao Chun thought for a while. Among the Thunder King's inheritance, there was only one set of divine weapons, the 7 deadly sins. It was a set of sabers. It would be difficult for a single person to bring out its full might. In that case, Xiao Chun could only give an Emperor-grade secret treasure. There were not many Emperor-grade secret treasures in the Thunder King's treasure trove, only 4. However, every one of them was not an ordinary Emperor-grade secret treasure. After verifying it, Xiao Chun took out a scarlet stone seal. This seal was scarlet and incredibly heavy. When he held it in his hand, it felt like he was holding a small mountain. This is the blood-killing seal. An ancient killing formation is sealed in it. Of course, with our strength, it would be very difficult for us to control the killing formation as we wish. Chapter 12:07. However, as long as I release it a little, I will be able to injure the half-step Emperor Wu. If I can lure him to me before making a move, it might be possible to kill him. Xiao Chun left his spiritual mark on the divine weapon and a drop of essence blood. First, he made this divine weapon recognize him as its master before handing it to Su Tianyan. To Su Tianyan, he only had the right to use this Emperor-grade secret treasure. If he tried to use it to injure Xiao Chun, he would immediately counter it. It was not that Xiao Chun was overly suspicious. It was just that the human heart was hard to fathom. It was never a bad thing to be more careful. Su Tianyun felt that Xiao Chen's actions were very normal. Since the other party gave him an emperor-grade secret treasure, he had to have some countermeasures. If Xiao Chun did not, he would not feel at ease and would not dare to ask for this emperor-grade secret treasure, fearing that there were other schemes involved. Many thanks, young Master Xiao. In the future, this scorching flame island will be the overseas conferred land of the Dragon's Gate's Heavenly Star Island. This Su will not have any other thoughts, Su Tianyun said extremely seriously after putting away the blood-killing seal. Xiao Chen smiled and said, "There is no need to be so serious. I do not care much about authority. In the future, the Su clan will be the same as before." "Oh, right, I have a question. How much do you know about the Flower of Life?" No matter what, Su Tianyun was an expert of the human demon sea. With the cultivation of a consummation blue-robed emperor, his horizons should not be low. He would definitely know some information about the Flower of Life. Xiao Chun was about to go and find out more about the Flower of Life. Coincidentally, there was a veteran of the human demon sea before him. It would be a pity not to ask. "Flower of Life?" Su Tianyun said, "This Flower of Life is very famous. Many experts of the other sea domains come to the human demon sea to seek a Flower of Life. However, it is not easy to obtain now. Although it is not extinct, it has not appeared in the auction house for several hundred years already. Compared to the death fruit, the Flower of Life was not very useful to the mixed blood cultivators of the human demon sea. The vast life chi contained in the stamen was like poison to them. If they swallowed it, they would be in danger of dying. But for experts of other races, it was different. The dense and pure life energy could bring a dying person back to life. Having a Flower of Life was equivalent to having an extra life. Although this statement was somewhat exaggerated, it was a good representation of the Flower of Life's value. Su Tianyun continued, "The Flower of Life is hard to grow in the first place. Furthermore, it is so valuable. It would be hard for it not to go extinct." Worry flashed on Xiao Chen's face. He had not expected the Flower of Life to be so hard to find. As far as I know, Death Valley, the birthplace of the Flower of Life, no longer has any flowers of life. Even if there are any, they will immediately attract the Emperor Wu, level experts of the human demon sea, to snatch them. Xiao Chen knew that he did not have the strength to snatch food from Emperor Wu's tiger's mouth. Furthermore, it was still unknown whether or not he had the Flower of Life. It was obvious that Death Valley was no longer reliable as the source of the attack. Xiao Chen muttered, "Are there any other places with flowers of life?" Su Tianyun thought for a long time. This question stumped him. He could not think of an answer. After thinking for a long time, Su Tianyun thought of something. He smiled and said, "I forgot about that. There's a snake in the world called the flying dragon snake. Its entire body is not tainted with any life chi. The scales, blood, and flesh all contain the purest aura of death. The flying dragon snake only exists in our human demon sea. To us mixed blood cultivators, it is the favorite demonic beast. Its entire body is a treasure." Xiao Chen nodded and said, "I've heard of this flying dragon snake before. However, what does it have to do with the Flower of Life that I am looking for? Don't be anxious. Listen to me slowly. Ordinary flying dragon snakes have nothing to do with you. However, the mutated flying dragon snake in the human demon paradise is related to you." Su Tianyun paused for a moment before continuing. "This mutated soaring serpent has a Flower of Life growing on its head. Due to the existence of this Flower of Life, it is far stronger than ordinary soaring serpents. The death chi it contains is even denser. Several people have designs on it. However, it is in the human demon paradise. Emperor Wu cannot enter, allowing this flying dragon snake to roam freely. Instead, it grows stronger and stronger." When Xiao Chen heard this, he rejoiced. However, when he heard Su Tianyun talk about the human demon paradise, his expression turned grave. The human-demon paradise was an ancient remnant of the human-demon sea. Its status was equivalent to the Kunlun continent's savage battlefield. Every time the human-demon paradise opened, it would attract all the peak experts under Emperor Wu. The human-demon paradise had a long history, dating back to the Immortal epoch. It was said to be the experiential training ground of a demonic Tao sect during the Immortal epoch. There were some demonic beasts or natural treasures in there. To cultivators of other races, they were not very useful. However, for mixed-blood cultivators of the human-demon sea, they were all treasures that targeted them. To demon mixed-blood cultivators, it was not an exaggeration to treat this ancient remnant as a paradise. That ancient experiential training ground was their paradise, a paradise where they could raise their strength quickly. Although I can guarantee that this flying dragon snake definitely has a flower of life growing on its head, I still advise young Master Xiao not to target this flying dragon snake. It is simply too dangerous. The human-demon paradise opens once every 100 years. Every time a cultivator tried to target this mutated flying dragon snake, they all ended up dying for nothing. Among them were several strong, half-step Emperor Wu. When Su Tianyun saw that Xiao Chun was tempted, he cautiously reminded him. Xiao Chun did not give a direct answer. Instead, he asked, "When will the human-demon paradise open again?" "There's still one more month." A light flashed in Xiao Chun's eyes. "In that case, it looks like I really have to go. No matter what, going to this human-demon paradise is much more reliable than going to Death Valley. I have to obtain the Flower of Life." In that case, to Xiao Chun, going to the human-demon paradise was not a question of whether to go or not. What mattered was what preparations to make and when to make a move. After the conversation ended, Xiao Chun instructed Su Tianyun to help him look for information on the human-demon paradise. The human-demon paradise was very dangerous. Naturally, he had to make some preparations. Although Xiao Chun was strong now, he was not arrogant enough to think that he was unrivaled under Emperor Wu. Not to mention the peak half-step Emperor Wu, who cultivated profound cultivation techniques and medial-grade profound martial techniques. There were also the 10 outstanding talents of the human-demon sea. The 10 outstanding talents of the human-demon sea were all consummation quasi-emperors, possessing the ability to fight above their cultivation realms. Xiao Chen's disadvantage was his age. He was too young, only 31 years old. To the Kunlun realm, where the average age was 500 years old, there was not much difference between him and the youths of the Sky Dome realm. "Ao Jiao, how much do you know about the human-demon paradise? What preparations do you need to make?" Xiao Chen asked. Ao Jiao came out of the immortal spirit ring and poured herself a cup of tea. Then, she replied, "I don't know much. That place is a land of experiential training. A sect uses it to test its disciples. As it is a demonic Tao sect, the experiential training there is extremely dangerous." Suddenly, a light flashed in Xiao Chen's eyes. He discovered that Ao Jiao was getting closer to a real person. Xiao Chen had not paid much attention to it for a while. However, when he looked carefully, he found it exceptionally obvious. Now, Ao Jiao could already eat and drink like a normal person, walking further and further away from the other item spirits. Xiao Chen wondered what exactly awaited Ao Jiao in the future. "Hey, why are you staring at me? There are no flowers on my face." Ao Jiao put down her teacup and rebuked him with a frown. Xiao Chen smiled embarrassedly. Then, he thought of something and said, "Little Ao Jiao, actually you don't need to stay in the immortal spirit ring or the lunar shadow saber anymore, right?" Ao Jiao was no longer an existence of energy. She did not need to expend energy to reveal her true form. Theoretically, as long as she was willing, she could stay outside for as long as she wanted. Furthermore, given the special circumstances, there was no need to worry about others recognizing her as an item spirit. When Ao Jiao heard Xiao Chen mention this, some nervousness flashed on Ao Jiao's face. However, it disappeared in a flash, hard to catch. Ao Jiao blinked. Her youthful, exquisite face seemed to contain some anticipation. She looked up at Xiao Chen and asked, "Why are you asking this?" Xiao Chen replied, "Nothing much. If that is really the case, then there is no need for you to stay in the ring." You can come out and get some fresh air. So, you are worried that I will be bored. Hee hee. However, if I come out and stand with you, how are you going to introduce me to others? Ao Jiao asked mischievously as she blinked and looked at Xiao Chun. Xiao Chun frowned slightly and rubbed his head, feeling vexed. He had not thought about this before. It seemed like no identity was suitable. Just say that she is my younger sister? That's not right. Although she slept for more than 1,000 years, she is indeed more than 1,000 years old. She is much older than me. My elder sister? That won't do either. Little Ao Jiao looks even younger than me. She cannot change her youthful appearance. Say that she is my friend? If that is the case, isn't that too distant? Our relationship cannot be described as just friends. This is really difficult. What identity should I use? As Xiao Chen thought about it, he unconsciously said what he was thinking. Suddenly, he felt that the temperature in the room had turned cold. He raised his head and looked at Ao Jiao, who had a frosty expression, before he snapped out of his thoughts. Who are you calling more than 1,000 years old? I am 18. I am 18. I will always be 18. Ao Jiao flew over and pressed Xiao Chen to the ground. Then, she said angrily with a cold expression. Xiao Chen lay on the ground and looked at the furious Ao Jiao, who was riding on him. He smiled helplessly and said, "All right, I was wrong. I will always be the 18-year-old Ao Jiao." That's more like it. Ao Jiao's expression changed quickly. She lowered her head and smiled. All right, let's go back to the earlier question. If I come out and stand with you, what identity will you use to introduce me? Their current position looked very ambiguous. Although the two of them were very close, Xiao Chan still felt a little strange. Furthermore, Ao Jiao was no different from a real girl now. All right, I'll answer you. However, can you get up first? How can a girl press down on someone else like that? A look of doubt flashed in Ao Jiao's eyes. She smiled and said, "Is that so? Why do I recall that elder sister Ryue pressed down on you like that in the Sky Dome realm?" Xiao Chun laughed awkwardly. He wanted to reason with her, but did not know what to say. Chapter 1208. Seeing that Xiao Chun was embarrassed and speechless, a sly smile flashed across Ao Jiao's eyes. Xiao Chun caught this smug look and immediately understood that he was fooled by this lass. In a fit of anger, he flipped over and pressed Ao Jiao down. "You're too daring. You even dare to fool your master." Xiao Chun pressed down on her hand and glared at her. He looked very angry. Ao Jiao looked at Xiao Chun at such a close distance and seemed to be really frightened. She said softly, "Are you really angry? I didn't do it on purpose. Actually, I know what you said is right. But don't worry. Ao Jiao won't treat others like that. She will only press down on you." Towards the end, her voice became softer and softer. Xiao Chen couldn't help but blush. He was a little embarrassed and let his imagination run wild. Xiao Chen's hands that were pressing down on Ao Jiao also loosened a little. Ao Jiao chuckled. She no longer had the delicate look from before. She flipped over and pressed down on Xiao Chen again. She sat on Xiao Chen's body. "Ha. A stupid master is still a stupid master. You are exactly the same as the first time I saw you. Tell me, what were you thinking about just now? Look at how red your face is." Ao Jiao giggled and pinched Xiao Chen's cheeks like a proud queen. Xiao Chen regretted it too late. He still fell for this lass's trick. This lass was indeed a 1,000-year-old shrewd person. He still couldn't win against her. The two of them flipped over and over again. He was still being ridden by this lass. Xiao Chen smiled helplessly, "Stop pinching. I was wrong just now." Ao Jiao then stopped in satisfaction and said, "Do you still dare to pretend to be angry with me?" "I don't dare anymore." Xiao Chan smiled bitterly in his heart and admitted obediently. Ao Jiao smiled and said, "That's right. Although you're a blockhead, what about some things? I also want to teach you that getting angry is a girl's right. Boys can't get angry at girls. Also, don't pretend to be angry, because the girl who cares about you will definitely be very stupid. She will really think that you are angry and will feel sad and blame herself." Xiao Chen looked at Ao Jiao's serious face and didn't know whether to laugh or cry. "How did you know that?" "Idiot, how would I know? I'm talking about myself." Ao Jiao cursed in her heart and changed the topic. Let's not talk about this first. You haven't answered my question. If I stand with you, how are you going to introduce me to the others? How is my cousin? No, this can't show my mature and steady temperament. It's like a child. Am I that naughty? What about cousin? No, I said I'm 18. You're already 31. How can I be your cousin? Auntie, can I? Pa, you're asking for a beating. Think about it seriously. I'm asking you seriously. Think about it. Think about it. What about junior sister? Junior sister, this is not bad. However, your master is Lu Ruyue. If I am your junior sister, wouldn't I be a generation lower than her? No, absolutely not. In that case, whatever you say. Idiot, I'm the one asking you. Seeing Ao Jiao riding on top of him, looking like she was not going to give up, Xiao Chan felt a headache coming on. What should he do with the 18-year-old Ao Jiao? The latter half of the night passed in this playful manner. When the sky brightened, the two of them were somewhat tired. They lay on the ground and stared at the ceiling in a daze. Originally, Xiao Chen only wanted to ask Ao Jiao about what he needed to take note of when he went to the human-demon paradise. He did not expect the night to pass so quickly. Xiao Chun thought about it carefully. It had been a long time since he had played around like this. Actually, no one had changed. Ao Jiao had not changed. She was still that Sunder girl with a bad temper. However, after she blocked the lightning tribulation for Xiao Chun and revived, she had become somewhat silent. Xiao Chun had not changed, either. Time passed. In the blink of an eye, 13 years had passed. Xiao Chen's dream of 13 years had never wavered. He wanted to climb to the peak of the martial Tao and leave behind his own legend in this world. He wanted to know if the Qing Emperor was dead or not and how he came to this world. He wanted to know why that old monster from the Immortal epoch that he met in the past said that the entire Kunlun realm was an abandoned land. He wanted to know where the people who left their nameless marks on the Sage Mark Monument went. He also wanted to know if there were martial gods in this world, and if there was a peak on the path of cultivation. There was also Chu Chaoyun, this mysterious opponent. After leaving Xiao Chan a painting, he vanished from his world once more. There were too many things that Xiao Chan wanted to do. However, he only had 3 years left. If he did not advance to Martial Emperor, everything would be empty talk. No matter how dazzling the light was, it was just a meteor flashing by on this great stage of the Age of Geniuses. Xiao Chan did not know how strong the group of outstanding talents in the distant astral battlefield were. He had not fought with these people yet. How could he be satisfied with just being a meteor? Xiao Chun stared blankly at the ceiling as several scenes flashed before his eyes. He could not bear to leave this starry world. Hey, what are you thinking about? Ao Jiao, who was also lying at the side, turned her head and asked. Xiao Chun smiled and replied, I'm recalling some things and some of my goals. After thinking about it, I still ended up returning to reality. I wonder if I can find the flower of life in the human-demon paradise. Ao Jiao smiled and stood up. Then, she pulled Xiao Chen up and said, There is no point in thinking too much. I'll practice with you and give you some confidence. Xiao Chen's heart skipped a beat. Your strength increased again? There were several holy spirit veins in the immortal spirit ring. Ao Jiao had been cultivating there all this time. It was impossible for her to remain stagnant. I'm far from comparable to you. However, it is enough to deal with a regular consummation blue-robed emperor. If I work with little yellow feather, I should be able to fight with the half-step Emperor Wu. This was good news. With an additional helper, there would be more hope for their trip to the human-demon paradise. The two stood up and went to the courtyard. Then, they bowed to each other. In the end, Ao Jiao only bowed halfway when she giggled and suddenly attacked. She had the pretty face of a young girl and a voluptuous figure. She held 2 sabers in her hands and thrust them into the air. She looked very valiant and graceful. Xiao Chun smiled faintly and did not draw his saber for now. He wanted to test Ao Jiao's strength. As the two sat in Scorching Flame City and prepared, the other outstanding talents of the Human-Demon Sea and the many peak experts did not remain idle, either. The Human-Demon Paradise opened once every 100 years. As the experiential training ground of the demonic Dao sects during the Immortal epoch, it was a public land of fortuitous encounters for the mixed blood cultivators of the human-demon sea. The experiential training ground of sect during the Immortal epoch was already of such high standards. It was hard to imagine what a glorious age that was. Would Emperor Wu be an ant in the eyes of those strong immortals? Half a month later, Xiao Chun and Ao Jiao, who had been preparing for a long time on Scorching Flame Island, took their leave from Su Tianyun and rode the Flood Dragon war chariot to the human-demon paradise. As Su Tianyun watched the two travel in the war chariot, a look of envy flashed in his eyes. The human-demon paradise opened once every 100 years. If not for the danger being too high and the heavy responsibilities of the Su clan's clan head, he would have gone to join in the excitement. The entrance to the human-demon paradise was on a desolate island in the central sea region of the human-demon sea. That was a bona fide desolate island. Aside from yellow sand, there were no plants or demonic beasts on the island. Normally, no one would come here to join in the excitement. However, as the days of the human-demon paradise's opening approached, more and more cultivators landed on the desolate island. Yellow sand covered the entire place, a boundless sea of sand rising and falling, stretching as far as the eye could see. A stone stele stood in the center of the desert. Black smoke spread out, and chains wrapped around it, making it look like a sharp sword piercing the sky. The words carved on the stone stele looked ancient and desolate, adding a mysterious aura to the stone stele. People moved about the desert in all directions. Warships and flying beasts filled the air. Cultivators of various cultivations had already arrived at this desert dozens of days in advance. As a land of fortuitous encounters similar to the savage battlefield, the human-demon paradise had extremely dangerous places. Even Emperor Wu did not dare to enter. There were also some ordinary forbidden lands for martial sages and martial monarchs. As long as cultivators of all levels could endure their greed and not wander around, they would be able to gain something from those places. However, it was easier said than done to suppress one's greed. Furthermore, even if one could restrain one's greed, it did not mean that others could and would not try to kill them. Although it was called a paradise, it was actually filled with danger. If one was not careful, one might lose their life. The many cultivators on the desert sea felt excited. Despite their anticipation, they also felt intense nervousness. While the place looked chaotic and unruly, it was actually very orderly. There were many different circles in the stone stele from near to far, showing the strict and cruel division of ranks. As the entrance, the people sitting cross-legged within 100 meters of the stone stele were all half-step Emperor Wu, consummation blue-robed emperor who had lived for several hundred years, or the most eye-catching 10 outstanding talents of the human-demon sea. The instant the human-demon paradise opened, these people would immediately obtain the right to enter the human-demon paradise. The reason was none other than that they were strong enough. When the people in the periphery looked at the small circle within 100 meters, they would feel a deep fear. They would not even dare to take a few more glances. Where would they find the courage to enter the human-demon paradise before these people? 100 meters away were the circles for the small perfection blue-robed emperor and the great perfection blue-robed emperor. Further out were the circles for the martial sages. Everything was clearly separated, and the ranks were very orderly. Within these circles, everyone had their own paths. They planned to enter the human-demon paradise together and seek fortuitous encounters. Whoosh! Just at this moment, two figures flew over at lightning speed in the sky. They were a man and a woman. The man wore white and looked delicate. At first glance, he did not look extraordinary. However, when one looked at him for a while, one would feel that he was unfathomable, not daring to underestimate him. The woman looked very pretty, like a young girl. Her exquisite figure was curvaceous in all the right places. With one glance, one could not help but let one's imagination run wild. A small golden bird perched on the woman's shoulder, its eyes filled with spirituality. These two were none other than Xiao Chun and Ao Jiao, who had rushed over with the golden crow holy beast, Little Yellow Feather. However, right now, Little Yellow Feather had not entered a state of combat. It looked very ordinary, like a pet bird. Aside from its beautiful and smooth feathers, there was nothing noteworthy about it. Chapter 1209. As Xiao Chun hovered in the air, he did not advance rashly. He only took a glance and saw the distinct circle of people below. The two in the air were very eye-catching among the group of demon mixed blood cultivators. The cultivators who came here all had the aura of the Deep Abyss demonic race, as well as an indistinct death demonic chi. Only Xiao Chun and Ao Jiao did not have any demon race aura on them. It would be difficult for them not to attract attention. Ao Jiao pointed to the stone stele and said, "That is the entrance to the human-demon paradise. Come, let's go down." Xiao Chun thought for a while and felt that it was better to get closer. He needed to snatch some things first. If he lost the flower of life because he was slower than others at the entrance, it would not be worth it. He would feel like crying, but no tears would come. Damn! Quick, look! Those two people are really bold. They actually went to the circle of half-step Emperor Wu. When the two landed, the already eye-catching two attracted everyone's attention. The dozens of people in the circle of half-step Emperor Wu also noticed Xiao Chun and Ao Jiao flying over. Several of them revealed displeased expressions. Entering a circle was not a simple matter. Who did not want to enter the human-demon paradise at the first opportunity? Who did not know the principle of seizing the initiative? However, not everyone was strong enough to stand in this circle. If one was not strong enough, they would only be humiliated and tossed out. When Xiao Qin got closer, he looked around and discovered that there were about 70 or 80 people within 100 meters. Most of them were half-step Emperor Wu. Aside from those who had matters to attend to, all the half-step Emperor Wu of the human-demon sea were probably here. Aside from the half-step Emperor Wu, there were the consummation blue-robed emperors who had lived for hundreds of years. Their auras were heavy, and their law energy leaked out. They gave off the feeling of being as heavy as a mountain and as deep as the sea. Their strength was unfathomable. In addition to these, there were 10 other young people standing together, forming a small circle. Among them, Xiao Chun noticed Dugu Ao's figure. A purple-haired beauty stood beside Dugu Ao. She had an exotic air and a unique charm. Xiao Chun paid attention. This purple-haired woman should have the bloodline of an Eros demon. Otherwise, she would not be so charming. These 10 people should be the famous 10 outstanding talents of the human-demon sea. Finding an empty space, Xiao Chun and Ao Jiao landed quietly. It was as if he didn't know what kind of circle he had entered. He was calm and composed, without the slightest hint of nervousness. As the two of them landed on the ground, the gazes of the small circle immediately focused on them. However, after a quick glance at Xiao Chun, all of their gazes fell onto Ao Jiao. With little Ao Jiao's hot figure and youthful appearance, it was hard not to attract the attention of others. "Do you know those two?" The purple-haired beauty beside Dugu Ao asked when she noticed Dugu Ao's expression. Dugu Ao nodded and replied, "I know the man, but I don't know the woman." The purple-haired beauty smiled and said, "You really do know him. Your friend is like you, extremely courageous. Unfortunately, he is only a great perfection blue-robed emperor, yet he dares to stand here. Furthermore, he is bringing a beauty with him. He is like a lamb entering a wolf's den. He is truly reckless." Dugu Ao's lips twitched. He did not want to explain too much. "Mu Xian, if you really think that way, the one at a disadvantage will be you." Mu Xian clearly did not believe him. "Is that so? There is already someone who is not convinced. Furthermore, he is an old pervert. I hope that your friend is as you say. Otherwise, he will be in trouble." Dugu Ao looked up and saw a half-step Emperor Wu, who had a bad reputation in the human-demon sea, walking over to Xiao Chun and Ao Jiao. Although this person looked old, he was spirited. His face was ruddy, and his eyes glowed with a sinister light, making one feel uncomfortable. Ao Jiao frowned slightly, revealing a look of disgust. Xiao Chun stepped forward and blocked her. Xiao Chun had already expected that there would be unavoidable trouble. He was not surprised. He did not fear a fight. He wanted to show his strength and prove that he was qualified to stand here. Young man, this is not a place where you can stand casually. Leave your female companion behind, and you may leave, the old man said disdainfully as he looked at Xiao Chun. Old man Feng is still so horny. This young man is in trouble. Ha! It is not him who is in trouble. It is his female companion who is in trouble. Old man Feng is not interested in men. I wonder where these two outsiders came from. The fortuitous encounters in the human-demon paradise are useless to cultivators of other races. Why are they here to join in the fun? If they want to join in the fun, then so be it. Why are they standing where they should not be? I wonder where their eyes are. The group of demon mixed-blood cultivators did not have a good impression of these outsiders in the first place. Furthermore, these outsiders had barged into their circle for no reason. Even though Old Man Feng had a bad reputation, he did not say anything to stop them. He only wanted to watch the show. Xiao Chun sized up this Old Man Feng. He was not very strong, just an ordinary half-step Emperor Wu, about the same as Wang Yang. Compared to Bing Xuejian, whom Xiao Chun met at Blackwater Island, and the Jadeite Mountain Manor's Manor Lord, Old Man Feng was much weaker. Xiao Chun looked straight at the other party, not showing any intention of retreating. He said indifferently, I will stand here. What do you want? Old Man Feng paused for no reason. He had not expected Xiao Chun to have such an attitude. Xiao Chun was very carefree, completely ignoring his words. Since I'm standing here, naturally, I have the confidence to do so. I have no grudge with you. I advise you to think this through before you move forward. There are some places that you cannot stand casually, and there are some people that you cannot offend. Old Man Feng's gaze was like a sharp treasure saber. As Xiao Chun spoke, he took another step forward. This step was like an unsheathed treasured sword that was suddenly pulled out by an inch. The metallic sound of a saber rang out. White robes fluttered on the yellow sand. In an instant, Xiao Chun's aura changed greatly. It became unbridled and incomparably sharp. A strong wind blew for no reason, carrying sand and dust into the air. Within 100 meters, the people who did not care about Xiao Chun all froze. Clearly, they had not expected this white-clad person to have such a terrifying sharpness. The eyes of the purple-haired beauty lit up. She exclaimed in shock, "What a strong sharpness! Could it be just for show?" Old Man Feng's heart sank. Unexpectedly, he ran into a tough nut to crack. Now that Old Man Feng thought about it, what the other party said was true. If he did not have any confidence, how could he have the courage to stand here? However, Old Man Feng no longer had a way out. Everyone in the circle was watching him. If he retreated now, he would lose all his face. A bona fide half-step Emperor Wu retreated before a great perfection blue-robed emperor. What could be more laughable than this? Old Man Feng smiled coldly and said, "Interesting. A great perfection blue-robed emperor actually dares to turn around and threaten me. The world is changing too quickly. Or am I already old?" "You're indeed old." Without saying a word, Xiao Chun replied coldly. Then, he stepped forward again and threw a palm strike at Old Man Feng. When Xiao Chun sent out his palm strike, all his vital chi surged. 15 dragon force instantly merged with law energy. Then, he sent out a palm strike without any fancy moves. Chi! The entire place fell silent. The white-clad youth, who was 2 grades weaker than Old Man Feng, actually chose to make the first move. Old Man Feng was clearly surprised. However, he was a veteran of hundreds of battles and was very experienced. After the initial panic, he calmed down. Old Man Feng did not believe that a great perfection blue-robed emperor could store up much force when he attacked so quickly. Scram! Old Man Feng casually threw a palm strike. When Xiao Chun charged over, he erupted with half his strength and sent out a palm strike without any fancy moves. Bang! When the 2 palms clashed, the expected situation of Xiao Chun being sent flying did not happen. Instead, the 2 were evenly matched. That was to say, the explosive power of this white-clad youth was no weaker than Old Man Feng's. The more shocking thing was yet to come. The instant the 2 palms clashed, the white-clad youth's clothes and hair fluttered without any wind. Ding, ding, dang. Xiao Chen's clothes and hair fluttered like zither strings. A boundless saber intent spread out wildly from his body along with this wondrous zither music. Flawless saber Dao, body as saber. This palm strike was like the sharpest treasure saber in the world. When it was drawn, it gave off an unparalleled sharpness and an overwhelming sharpness. Old Man Feng had not expected Xiao Chen's simple palm strike to have so many tricks up its sleeve. Old Man Feng immediately suffered, his entire right hand in incredible pain. The force that surged over was like a sharp knife, cutting at his flesh, skin, and meridians. Although Old Man Feng's strength was no weaker than Xiao Chen's, the pain deterred him from continuing to clash with Xiao Chun. Shock and rage flashed on Old Man Feng's face as he withdrew his hand and turned around, wanting to retreat. "You want to leave?" I said before, there are some people that you cannot offend as you please. Old Man Feng's actions were completely within Xiao Chen's expectations. He completely unleashed the Thunder Dragon steps that he had been storing up for a long time. Xiao Chen pushed off the ground and soared into the air. Many purple electric dragons soared out of the ground. This formed a vast scene of dragons soaring, pushing Xiao Chen's speed to the limit. As Xiao Chun soared, he punched Old Man Feng, who was retreating, in the chest. Bang! He knocked Old Man Feng into the sand. Xiao Chun knelt on one knee and pressed his fist against the ground. Old Man Feng's figure could not be seen above the sand at all. The circle within 100 meters fell completely silent. No one had expected that a moment of carelessness would result in Old Man Feng suffering such a huge disadvantage. After knocking Old Man Feng into the sand with one punch, Xiao Chun withdrew his hand and stood upright. The many purple electric dragons materialized by Thunder Dragon steps danced wildly behind him. This gave Xiao Chun a somewhat tyrannical aura. He looked like a dragon among men, a sovereign among dragons. Pooh! Old Man Feng burst out of the sand. Xiao Chun watched coldly, not taking advantage of the moment Old Man Feng jumped out to continue attacking. This was because there was no need. The two of them had already reached a very high level. It would be easy to defeat one of them, but it would be difficult to kill the other. Furthermore, if they fought to the death, even if Xiao Chun won, he would still be the one suffering. Chapter 12:10. Xiao Chun believed that the other party would choose to retreat in the face of difficulties and not seek trouble for no reason. After living for so long, it was impossible for the other party to not understand these principles that he knew. However, if the other party really dared to come again, then Xiao Chun would not be polite with him either. After coming to this oceanic world, Xiao Chun had fought in the various sea regions. Their cultivations were not much different, so he had never feared anyone. Old Man Feng trembled slightly and wiped off the sand on his body. As he looked at Xiao Chun, who had dragons dancing behind him, intense rage burned in his eyes. Old Man Feng's rationality told him that there was no point in continuing to pester Xiao Chun at this moment. However, he simply could not accept being humiliated by youth in his circle. "Brat, you really do not know what's good for you. Today, I will show you the true strength of the half-step Emperor Wu." Old Man Feng roared, and many miniature tornadoes appeared behind him. These tornadoes looked like they were only the size of a finger. However, as the tornadoes tore, fine cracks appeared in space. As the cracks gathered, the space behind him looked like it would shatter. "Enough! Old Man Feng, there is no need to cause trouble for no reason." Just at this moment, a cold snort rang out. An old man sat cross-legged at the place closest to the stone steel. He looked ordinary and did not give off any aura. The one who spoke was this white-haired old man. The moment he spoke, he immediately attracted the attention of countless people. Old Man Feng, who was called out, was startled. He had not expected to attract the white-haired old man's attention. He already proved that he has the strength to stand here. If you want to regain your face, either enter the human-demon paradise first or scram far away. Don't disturb the others here. The white-haired old man's tone was very tyrannical and impolite. However, these words prevented Old Man Feng from retorting. After glancing at Xiao Chun, Old Man Feng obediently withdrew his aura and stood to the side. Xiao Chun stopped executing the Thunder Dragon steps and looked at the old man behind the stone stele. He was somewhat startled. He had not noticed this old man at all. However, when Old Man Feng spoke, no one dared to make a sound. The enraged Old Man Feng was reprimanded until he was rendered speechless. If he didn't have great strength, the white-haired old man definitely wouldn't have such a deterrent force. The human demon sea was filled with crouching tigers and hidden dragons. Perhaps there were hidden existences like this white-haired old man in this circle. It looked ordinary and unremarkable, but it was actually incredibly powerful. "Brother Xiao, this way." A voice rang out by Xiao Chen's ear. It was Dugu Ao, sending a voice projection to him. Xiao Chen looked over and nodded in acknowledgement. Then, he walked over with Ao Jiao. In the small circle of the 10 outstanding talents, Dugu Ao stood alone with the purple-haired woman, keeping a certain distance from the others. Seeing Xiao Chen and Ao Jiao walking towards Dugu Ao, the other 8 of the 10 outstanding talents revealed strange expressions. This was because Dugu Ao had a fiery temper and was proud and arrogant. Aside from the purple-haired woman, he had no friends among the people of the same age. Aside from this, there was another special reason. Everyone knew that although Dugu Ao was a mixed blood, he cultivated the veritable essence energy of humans. He did not cultivate the death demonic chi of the deep abyss demon race. It was like he was a germaphobe and had no friends at all. However, such a reclusive person seemed to know this white-robed person. Naturally, this piqued the interest of the others. Interesting. Unexpectedly, aside from Mu Xian, there is someone else who is acquainted with Dugu Ao, a handsome, red-haired man muttered. This person's name was Pei Yin, the strongest of the 10 outstanding talents of the human demon sea. He had defeated the half-step emperor Wu many times. This person was Pei Yin, the strongest of the 10 outstanding talents of the human demon sea. He had defeated the half-step emperor Wu many times. Pei Yin had the bloodline of a human and a fire demon. He had a unique understanding and strong comprehension of the will of fire. When Pei Yin saw Xiao Chun and Ao Jiao walking together with Dugu Ao, he started to think to himself, would the appearance of these 2 change his plans? What's wrong? It is just 2 more pieces of trash. Do you think that Dugu Ao can compete with us? Someone beside Pei Yin asked. This person had a frosty expression, looking proud and aloof. His arrogant appearance made him look extremely arrogant. Pei Yin smiled and said, "In your eyes, those who are inferior to you are trash. However, even a dog would be in big trouble if it got bitten. Your attitude is unacceptable." When the 2 stood together, they stood out from the crowd. They both exuded a strong aura, showing how extraordinary they were. In reality, this was not wrong. This frosty man was called Han Feng. He ranked second among the 10 outstanding talents and was known as the cold-blooded swordsman. He was cold and emotionless, vicious and merciless. The remaining 6 of the 10 outstanding talents formed another circle under the leadership of the 3rd-ranked Yi Ziheng. With Pei Yin, Dugu Ao, and Yi Ziheng as the leaders, the 10 outstanding talents formed 3 circles. It seemed like they all had a common goal. After Xiao Chun and Ao Jiao entered, they disrupted the balance in this small circle, causing a commotion that was neither too big nor too small. Hee hee. Xiao Chun, right? This is my first time meeting you. I am Mu Xian. When the purple-haired girl saw Xiao Chun walk over, she immediately went forward and introduced herself. Her eyes were charming and captivating as she gave Xiao Chun a fierce look. Ao Jiao frowned heavily. Her lips curled up as she snorted with a cold expression. When Mu Xian saw this, she smiled faintly. The charm on her face intensified. This girl's charm technique evoked a memory in Xiao Chun, a distant memory of a girl he did not know if he would meet again. After being distracted for a moment, Xiao Chun nodded politely. Then he walked over to Dugu Ao and pushed the other party to the side. Mu Xian's smile froze. What is this? Does he ignore my charm technique? When Ao Jiao saw this scene, She smiled at Mu Xian in a cocky manner. Little yellow feather on her shoulder spread its wings and patted its paws, showing a cocky expression as well. This human and bird, especially little yellow feather's despicable appearance, angered Mu Xian so much that she felt like vomiting blood. I'm very surprised that you, a human cultivator, will be interested in this human-demon paradise, Dugu Ao said. Xiao Chun said indifferently. Actually, I wanted to say that as well. You also cultivate veritable essence energy. Why are you here? Dugu Ao smiled and said, I suddenly have a feeling that my goal might be the same as yours. Xiao Chun said, in that case, how about we write our goals on our palms at the same time and see if they're the same? All right. The two stretched out their palms and placed them in front of their eyes. Characters appeared on their palms from nowhere. After they finished writing, they clenched their fists and brought them together. The two glanced at each other and opened their palms at the same time. The words mutated flying dragon snake flickered on Dugu Ao's palm, while the words flower of life appeared on Xiao Chen's palm. Indeed, it is the same. The two smiled faintly and casually scattered the characters on their palms. Dugu Ao stood upright with his hands behind his back and said, although our goals are the same, our goals are somewhat different. I owe that woman a favor and need to help her obtain the mutated flying dragon snake's darkness demon core. As for you, you want the flower of life. We can work together. When Dugu Ao spoke of owing Mu Xian a favor, an unnatural expression flashed on his face. This made one curious. How did Dugu Ao end up owing Mu Xian a favor? There had to be a thought-provoking story behind this. Xiao Chun was not a gossipy person, so he did not pursue the matter. He did not even think about Dugu Ao's proposal before directly agreeing. There was no other reason. One more person meant one more force. The benefits of working together outweighed the disadvantages. The flower of life was very important to Xiao Chun. Without the flower of life, he could not advance to martial emperor. As long as there was a chance to increase his chances of obtaining the flower of life, Xiao Chun absolutely would not give up. Dugu Ao smiled faintly, revealing a trace of joy on his face. With Xiao Chen's help, he was more confident of this trip. After negotiating the cooperation, Dugu Ao pointed to Ao Jiao, who was beside Xiao Chun. Who is this? You have not introduced her yet. Is she coming with us? The feeling that Ao Jiao gave Dugu Ao was somewhat unfathomable. It felt like he was looking at flowers through a fog. This made Dugu Ao doubt Ao Jiao's strength, so he needed to get an accurate answer from Xiao Chun. Upon hearing this question, Ao Jiao smiled smugly. Her face was as proud as it could be. She glanced at Xiao Chun and quietly waited for him to speak. When Xiao Chun thought back to the experience of that night, an embarrassed expression flashed in his eyes. After thinking for a while, he gave the answer that had bothered him many times that night. This is my little master, Ao Jiao. There is no need to worry about her strength. A regular half-step Emperor Wu will not be able to stop her. Furthermore, she is much more experienced in combat than you or me. Strictly speaking, this was not wrong. Ao Jiao had indeed taught Xiao Chun many things. This was especially so in the Sky Dome realm. When Xiao Chun was still very weak, he had received a lot of guidance from Ao Jiao. However, the mention of Xiao Chen's master and the aura of the two were somewhat strange. Dugu Ao did not overthink this. He believed that, given Xiao Chen's character, he would not joke about such a thing. Furthermore, Ao Jiao gave him a feeling that he could not see through her. When Dugu Ao heard this, he felt deep veneration for Ao Jiao. He performed a cupped fist salute and said, So, it is a senior Ao. Dugu Ao has been impolite. Ao Jiao smiled like a flower. I don't dare to address you as senior. Just call me elder sister Ao Jiao. Right, I'll listen as senior, elder sister Ao Jiao. When Xiao Chun saw Dugu Ao's serious expression, he felt like laughing. However, he managed to hold it in the end. Are you for real? This girl is a senior? Even if you beat me to death, I will not believe it. Mu Xian's face filled with shock. She was of the same generation, as Dugu Ao. Didn't that mean that she was a generation lower than this girl? When Muxian thought about how this girl laughed at her with that little bird earlier, she could not help feeling angry. Dugu Ao's expression turned serious as he said, "How can you say that? This is a senior who is here to help you. Quickly apologize and call her elder sister." Muxian seemed to fear Dugu Ao somewhat. She looked at him with some grievance. When she saw that he still had a serious expression, she could only walk over to Ao Jiao. After Mu Xian apologized in a soft voice, she called out to elder sister Ao Jiao in dissatisfaction. Chapter 12:11. It's fine. This elder sister has always been magnanimous. I will not bicker with children. Ao Jiao rejoiced in her heart. Who asked you to flirt with me? Now, you still have to obediently call me elder sister. When little yellow feather felt that Ao Jiao was showing off, it also felt very cocky. It circled around Ao Jiao. When Mu Xian saw this, she gritted her teeth. However, she still forced a smile. Xiao Chun sensed that something was wrong with the two. However, he did not overthink it. While there was still some time before the human-demon paradise opened, he asked, "How much do you know about this mutated flying dragon snake? How many people are competing with us this time?" Dugu Ao thought for a while before replying. Actually, this huge snake is only slightly stronger than a regular half-step Emperor Wu. The main thing is that the death chi on its body is too pure. Its recovery ability is too strong. It is not something that can be killed simply by relying on numbers. As for the competition, based on what I know, the 10 outstanding talents are all targeting this mutated flying dragon snake. As for who else, I'm not sure. Xiao Chun frowned slightly. It seemed like the information he received was somewhat different. According to Su Tianyun, the mutated flying dragon snake was already too dangerous, so few people took the risk. After raising his question, Dugu Ao looked at the 10 outstanding talents and said, "The information is somewhat outdated. This mutated flying dragon snake just happened to be over 3,000 years old this year. A 3,000-year-old flying dragon snake's demon core can already evolve into a demonic essence pill. An ordinary demonic essence pill is already very valuable. The mutated flying dragon snake's demonic essence pill will be even more horrifying. It can increase the chances of a demonic mixed blood undergoing the great tribulation of wind and fire by 50%. Xiao Chun understood now. No wonder these 10 outstanding talents were all eyeing the mutated flying dragon snake. The 10 outstanding talents were all consummation blue-robed emperors. They all feared the unknown of the great tribulation of wind and fire. With the mutated demonic essence pill, it was like taking half a reassurance pill in advance. The two of them chatted casually for a while. Then, Xiao Chun inadvertently glanced at the white-haired old man that he feared. He asked, "What is the background of this white-haired old man?" Even old man Feng did not dare to retort when he scolded him. At the mention of this white-haired old man, Dugu Ao's expression turned grave. This is the old black iron monster. He possesses the iron demon bloodline and once killed Emperor Wu. He is one of the strongest half-step Emperor Wu in the human demon sea. Hearing this, Xiao Chun was shocked, feeling extremely shocked. As a half-step Emperor Wu, he killed an Emperor Wu. This was beyond his imagination, and he felt that it was inconceivable. It was no wonder that the moment he spoke, Old Man Feng was so frightened that he immediately lost all of his arrogance. However, was this true? Dugu Ao nodded and said, "Although he won very miserably, it is indeed true. He killed an Emperor Wu before. Emperor Wu is also divided into different ranks. Some of the newly advanced Emperor Wu's heart of an emperor is not dense enough, and some of the Emperor Wu's golden body is not pure enough. Although he is ridiculously strong to us, he is not an unrivaled existence." Xiao Chen nodded to himself. Now that Dugu Ao said that, it made sense. The old black iron monster only killed a newly advanced martial emperor. However, this did not deny the old black iron monster's strength. At the very least, Xiao Chun believed that he was not a match for any Emperor Wu, not even the newly Emperor Wu. However, it is fine. He wants to find another way to complete the golden body of Emperor Wu. allowing himself to ascend to the Emperor Dao. His goal is different from ours. Xiao Chun heaved a sigh of relief. If such a person became an opponent, just thinking about it was somewhat scary. Since the demonic essence pill was used to help the blue-robed emperor undergo his great tribulation of wind and fire, then his main competitors would be the peak experts of the consummation blue-robed emperor. At most, there would be some half-step Emperor Wu, who was just watching the show. It was still possible to snatch the flower of life. This thought made everyone feel more relaxed. Rumble, rumble, rumble. Just at this moment, the ground suddenly shook intensely. A savage aura spread out from the ancient stone steel that looked like a sharp sword. Everyone's expressions froze as they looked at the stone steel at the same time. Xiao Chen's gaze sank as he muttered, "Is it going to open? The human demon paradise?" The chains on the stone steel fell one by one, giving off heavy clangs. When the chains finished falling, a pitch-black clump of light appeared at the top of the stone steel. After a while, the clump of light turned into an ancient secret door. With a pa sound, the door of light suddenly opened as if it was solid, radiating a strange, ink-like light. Whoosh! The old black iron monster, who was the closest, was the first to move. "Come, let's go in," Dugao said quickly. Then he quickly charged in. Xiao Chun, Ao Jiao, and Muxian moved at nearly the same time. Although the desert sea was noisy and chaotic, it still maintained the most basic rules. Groups of different strengths, from strong to weak, entered in an orderly fashion. If a cultivator from the lower group tried to enter first, they would suffer the attacks of the entire upper group. They would not dare to move rashly. The ancient black door of light, the many excited cultivators above the desert sea, and the experts flying into the door of light formed a solemn scene. Even though the six paths were no longer around and the cycles of reincarnation were broken, the distant demonic Tao sects of the immortal epic still remained. This land of experiential training still gave off the glory of that era. When all the cultivators present had entered the human-demon paradise, two beams of divine light suddenly descended from the sky above the calm sea of sand. When the lights landed, two handsome deity race experts with white hair and golden eyes glanced at the door of darkness on the stone steel. Then, without saying a word, they instantly entered. Suddenly, the sand on the ground exploded, and two coffins flew out, carrying the two corpse race half-step Emperor Wu into the human-demon paradise. White figures flashed. Not long after the coffins flew in, two ghost race half-step Emperor Wu with pale faces entered the human-demon paradise. Soon, peak half-step martial emperors of the fiend race and the human race appeared one after another. After all the demon mixed-blood cultivators entered, 10-odd experts of the foreign races appeared. Furthermore, all of them were ridiculously strong. No one knew what was going on. Why did the human-demon paradise, which only attracted demon mixed-blood cultivators, attract so many foreign race experts? TSK. It looks like it is not just one major character who deduced that the crux of this fellow's advancement to martial emperor lies in the flower of life. We're not the only ones who are not willing to see a second Qing emperor. A clump of blood squirmed on the beach and condensed into a handsome, red-clad figure with a strange aura. The demonic chi that this red-clad figure exuded was far denser than that of any demon mixed-blood cultivator. It was so pure that it was terrifying. A light flashed, and this mysterious red-clad figure entered the human-demon paradise as well. As the sun set in the west, the entrance to the human-demon paradise slowly closed. A youth with calm eyes and a sword on his back appeared on the distant desert sea. That was close. I nearly came too late. Tens of thousands of meters away, the young man had a faint smile on his lips as he spoke in a slightly happy manner. Right after he spoke, his body turned into two beams of light, one black and one white, intertwining with each other. At the last moment before the entrance to the human-demon paradise closed, he entered. Xiao Chun, who entered the human-demon paradise, did not know that several peak major characters had already deduced that he would be facing a great calamity when he tried to snatch the flower of life. These major characters had already reached the peak of the Kunlun realm and touched upon some of the extremely profound heavenly Tao. As long as they obtained a person's aura, they could reverse the heavenly Tao and deduce the key points of the calamity of that person. Of course, such a method of deduction reversed the heavenly Tao and paid a huge price. The information obtained was not very comprehensive and could not predict a person's future, only some crucial points. Furthermore, Xiao Chun had great luck on him. If one wanted to deduce his tribulation point, they would have to pay an even greater price. Even the primes of the various races would have to pay a huge price just to deduce it. They would need a long time to recover, so they would not dare to make careless deductions. The few primes had been paying attention to Xiao Chun long ago. They saw Xiao Chun's tribulation point in the heavenly Tao at the same time. With the Thunder King protecting him, the primes did not dare to kill Xiao Chun head-on. However, they could still do something to prevent him from obtaining the Flower of Life. Inside the human-demon paradise, Xiao Chun and Dugu Ao quickly headed for Death Swamp, where the mutated flying dragon snake was. The human-demon paradise was incredibly vast. There were mountains, lakes, rivers, forests, swamps, desolate ice, and all sorts of other terrains. The place was complex and ever-changing, hiding all sorts of dangers. Amidst the danger and danger, there were all sorts of fortuitous encounters. The human-demon paradise had been passed down for millions of years. The general situation inside had long since spread. Cultivators of different cultivations all had a bottom line in their hearts. They knew where they were going to take risks and would not randomly go to places that were much stronger than them. Of course, there would definitely be some skilled and bold people who wanted to seek riches amidst danger, going to even more dangerous places. The thoughts and decisions of these people had nothing to do with Xiao Chun. His and Dugu Ao's goal was very straightforward, to rush to Death Swamp immediately. Then, they would forcefully snatch the Flower of Life from the various competitors. Then, they would take the most crucial step on their rugged and thorny Emperor's Road. No one has succeeded in killing the mutated flying dragon snake in the past few thousand years. Now that it has condensed a demonic essence core, it will be even harder to deal with. How confident are you? Xiao Chun asked Dugu Ao, who was beside him, as the wind blew past his ears. Dugu Ao glanced at Mu Xian, who was lagging behind. A complicated expression flashed in his eyes as he slowly said, 100%. This answer startled Xiao Chun slightly. What trump card did Dugu Ao prepare? To think that Dugu Ao was even more confident than him. Don't look at me. I have not prepared any trump cards, Dugu Ao said with a faint smile. He knew what Xiao Chun was thinking, so he seemed to be telling the truth. Dugu Ao paused for a while. Thinking about how he was working with Xiao Chun now, it was not good to keep him in suspense. He answered honestly, I really do not have any trump cards. My trump card is myself. At that time, I will help you block the other opponents. You will be responsible for killing the mutated flying dragon snake and taking away the demonic essence core and the Flower of Life. All the opponents, Dugu Ao nodded heavily and said, all of them. Whoosh. Just when the Death Swamp was in sight, two figures descended and blocked the path of the four people. Chapter 1212. It was Old Man Feng and Wang Yang, who had a grudge with Xiao Chun. For some reason, these two half-step Emperor Wu were not searching for their own fortuitous encounters. Instead, they were here to block Xiao Chun and Dugu Ao. As for why these two were together, it was not surprising. These two had grudges with Xiao Chun. It was normal for them to be together in this human-demon paradise. Scram, Dugu Ao said with a cold expression, his tone laced with murderous intent. Xiao Chun frowned slightly and said calmly, don't do anything foolish. With your strength, you cannot kill the four of us. Wang Yang looked at Xiao Chun, and heavy hatred flashed in his eyes. Indeed, we cannot kill you. However, we can still block you for half a day. Old Man Feng smiled coldly and said, with us around, the two of you can forget about obtaining the demonic essence pill. The hearts of Xiao Chun and Dugu Ao sank. They now knew why these two were here. They were here to annoy them. to delay them, not giving them a chance to participate in the fight for the mutated flying dragon snake. Uchi, the first and second ranks of the 10 outstanding talents, Pei Yin and Han Feng, flew over at lightning speed. When they saw this scene, they revealed gloating smiles. Soon, another 4 figures flashed by. It was Iziheng leading the 3 outstanding talents, overtaking them as well. It looks like heaven is helping us. Iziheng turned his head back and smiled. The 3 behind him laughed as well. Dugu Ao's expression turned sullen. He sent a voice projection. Xiao Chun, what should we do? If 2 half-step Emperor Wu are determined to delay you, it will be a headache and troublesome matter. What should I do? Is the most crucial step of advancing to martial emperor in 5 years going to fall to these 2 clowns? How hateful! Xiao Chun suppressed the rage in his heart. As he looked at the 2, he enunciated every word clearly. I'll say it one last time. Don't test my bottom line. Quickly scram. Otherwise, even if the 2 of you flee to the ends of the world, there will be no place for you to hide. I, Xiao Chun, am a man of my word. The domineering aura of the Blue Dragon King burst forth from Xiao Chun's body. The Blue Dragon King emblem on his chest flashed. In a flash of light, his white robe turned into a dazzling green. Faintly, a formless blue dragon appeared behind Xiao Chun. Its eyes were staring at Wang Yang and Xiao Chun emotionlessly. That was the Blue Dragon King's insignia. The dragon might that had accumulated in the Dragon's Gate's holy land for more than 10,000 years burst out in Xiao Chen's rage. Old Man Feng and Wang Yang could not understand what was going on. Goosebumps rose all over their bodies as they panicked and wanted to retreat. But thinking that he was a half-step Emperor Wu after all, even if he couldn't beat these 4 people in front of him, he could definitely escape if he wanted to. Instantly, he regained his confidence. Wang Yang cursed. So what if I touch your bottom line? I don't believe that you can really kill me. You want to take the demon essence pill? Let me tell you, no way. Kill. Without saying anything more, Xiao Chun unleashed all his suppressed killing chi and rage. Then, he swung his saber and chopped at Wang Yang. This saber strike in a rage instantly separated Wang Yang and Old Man Feng. No matter what happens behind me, I have to kill Wang Yang today. Hatred flashed in Ao Jiao's eyes. At the crucial moment, this fellow still came to cause trouble. She cannot tolerate this. 2 short sabers appeared in Xiao Chen's hands as she charged at Wang Yang with Little Yellow Feather. Mu Xian looked around, and a light flashed in her eyes. Then, she sent a voice projection to Dugu Ao, go and help him. Kill that person quickly. Old Man Feng will definitely run away in fear. Can you deal with him alone? Don't worry. I can deal with him. I'll be fine, Mu Xian said with a smile when she saw the deeply hidden concern in Dugu Ao's eyes. Be careful. Dugu Ao had always been decisive. After saying that, he joined the group that surrounded and attacked Wang Yang. Wang Yang, who was already suppressed by Xiao Chun, Ao Jiao, and Little Yellow Feather, felt so regretful that his intestines turned green. Why are they all targeting me? According to the original plan, Wang Yang and Old Man Feng would work together to fight the 4. After that, they would work together to break out of the encirclement and leave easily. That way, they would achieve their goal of delaying these 2. However, now that Xiao Chun made the first move, separating Wang Yang and Old Man Feng, the situation went beyond Wang Yang's plan. Originally, Wang Yang was already no match for just Xiao Chun. Now, with so many people, it was over. Even if he wanted to run, he could not. Old Man Feng, come and save me. Wang Yang only lasted for a moment before wounds covered his body, causing him to vomit blood. However, how could Old Man Feng come and save Wang Yang? Mu Xian gave off a dreamy, hazy light. She used all sorts of means to hold Old Man Feng back. Old Man Feng was a famous lecher in the first place. When faced with Mu Xian's charm arts, he fell for it repeatedly, unable to shake her off. It had to be said that the half-step Emperor Wu's vast cultivation and strong recovery ability were indeed somewhat horrifying. Even though Wang Yang was being suppressed by the 3 of them and the Golden Crow from start to finish, he did not die quickly. At this moment, Wang Yang's hair was disheveled, and he appeared incredibly flustered. He tried to break out of the encirclement several times, but they blocked him. Wang Yang no longer had any of his earlier arrogance. The situation instantly flipped. He wanted to cry, but no tears came out. He begged for mercy a few times, but no one bothered with him. If one did not seek trouble, one would not die. Wang Yang did not even take the initiative to look for Xiao Chun, yet he ran over to disgust him. Such an outcome served him right. In its combat state, Little Yellow Feather's body grew several hundred times larger. Its glistening golden feathers gave off a sun-like light. When it opened its mouth, it spat out extremely dense solar true flame. Ao Jiao, who wanted to help Xiao Chun end Wang Yang quickly, entered her peak state. She did not even care about her injuries. There was also Dugu Ao at the side. When he suddenly made a move, he caused Wang Yang to vomit 3 liters of blood. Under such circumstances, even though Wang Yang was a half-step Emperor Wu, from the moment he fell into the encirclement, his fate was sealed. But from the moment he fell into the encirclement, his fate was sealed. There was only one word for him: death. 2 hours later, Xiao Chun executed a sure kill attack. Blood spurted out, and a saber light flashed as he chopped off Wang Yang's head. This half-step Emperor Wu, who had clamored earlier, did not believe that Xiao Chun could kill him. Now, he died without a complete corpse, unable to come back to life. On the other side, Old Man Feng had already intended to retreat long ago. When he saw Wang Yang's headless corpse, he was startled. Not daring to linger, he quickly retreated. The group glanced at Old Man Feng, but did not give chase. This was not the time to settle scores with him. After the interlude ended, Dugu Ao searched Wang Yang's corpse. However, he did not find anything useful, so he ignored it. As for Wang Yang's spatial ring, the group did not bother looking at it. After reaching the blue-robed Emperor realm, they had the ability to set restrictions in their spatial rings. Once they died, the restrictions would activate. If someone did not know about it and try to forcefully take the things in the spatial ring, the restrictions would only injure them. They would only be injured by the explosion of the restriction, and some evil restrictions would even blow them up to death. With this, we completely lost the initiative to kill the mutated flying dragon snake. If the mutated flying dragon snake had already been killed, all our efforts would have been for naught, Dugu Ao said somewhat worriedly. Although the other party died, they had indeed achieved their goal, truly disgusting the two of them. Mu Xian said, "There's no rush. Let's recover first. Actually, let's think about it from another perspective. The mutated flying dragon snake is not easy to deal with. It would be good for these people to help us share the burden." Xiao Chen glanced at this girl. Earlier, this girl dared to get Dugu Ao to help while she held off Old Man Feng by herself. Not only was she strong, but she was also extraordinarily calm. This made others view her in a different light. She was also not a pretty flower vase that only knew how to use charm techniques. Let's rest first. We already lost the initiative. There is no need to worry about staying here for a while longer. Right now, we are not in a good state. If we rush over, it would be too rash. Xiao Chen agreed with Mu Xian's point of view. Without saying anything more, the group sat down cross-legged and closed their eyes to circulate their energies to recover. Even after Wang Yang's headless corpse died, it still gave off a strong aura that quickly faded away. This made the cultivators passing by feel a deep fear for the group sitting cross-legged, not daring to have any designs on them. A half-step Emperor Wu actually died here. If word got out, no one would believe it. After a while, Xiao Chun was the first to open his eyes. He was the fastest to recover. The others had not opened their eyes yet. Xiao Chun tossed aside the exhausted essence stone in his hand and looked in the direction of Death Swamp. Then he frowned slightly. For some reason, Xiao Chun felt uneasy at this moment. It was not because of the outstanding talents that had gone to the Human Demon Sea in advance. Instead, it was because of some indescribable emotions. Xiao Chun closed his eyes and scanned his surroundings with his spiritual sense. In the end, everything was normal. They were all mixed-blood cultivators undergoing experiential training in the human demon paradise. Actually, he also knew that at this level, as long as he wanted to, he could avoid detection from people of the same level. If a true expert wanted to hide, his divine sense would also be useless. The road to Emperor was to build a bridge connecting the chasm between heaven and earth, reaching the other shore and successfully pushing open the Emperor's door. Now, his bridge was already half built, and he had reached the most crucial stage. He stood on the other side of the bridge and looked at the Emperor's door on the other side. He could clearly feel how dangerous the abyss below the chasm was. One wrong step, and the bridge would be destroyed. They would fall into the abyss, consigned to eternal damnation. What's wrong? You look troubled. Are you still worried about the flower of life? Actually, that thing doesn't have much value to demonic hybrids. Even if it's taken, they'll find a way to get rid of it. Dugu Ao followed close behind. After recovering, he consoled Xiao Chun. You gained a lot in the 8-star Dragon Grave. As long as you are willing to pay the price, you will be able to buy it. Unlike me, if someone obtained the demonic garden pill, I would definitely keep it for myself and not auction it off. That was indeed the case. However, if that was the case, then there was no need for Xiao Chun to worry at all. Perhaps he was just being overly suspicious. Xiao Chun smiled and stopped thinking about this. He said, "Let's not talk about this for now. Let's talk about you. Why must you help this woman? You might even die." Sorrow flashed in Dugu Ao's eyes. He muttered, "It's a long story. Actually, I have a perfect demon bloodline. My bloodline is even stronger than the Blood Sword sovereigns from 50,000 years ago. As long as I'm willing to cultivate demonic chi and activate my innate talent, the so-called 10 outstanding talents are nothing to me."